Chapter 1737. 1737 Phoenix Cry 9 Heaven's Empire established too. I never thought that the Dragon and Phoenix Empire would be so powerful. They don't even give face to the 10,000 Fey Empire. It's very similar to the style of the former Empress, but who gave them the confidence? According to my senses, the Empress's strength is not as strong as it was in the past. In a corner of the imperial capital's imperial palace of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, Patriarch Sacred Flame and the Phoenix Empire's imperial master were sitting in a room. The two of them were conversing in puzzlement. It was out of their expectations that the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty dared to offend the 10,000 Fey Empire. The Empress has never had a good impression of the 10,000 Fey Empire. Perhaps this is also the reason why the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty is so powerful. Patriarch Sacred Flame slowly guessed. There were quite a few figures who were standing with the Empress just now. There are at least 10 people in the longevity realm of the Dragon and Phoenix dynasty now. This is really unexpected. According to the information I received, there's another Lord Wang in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. He's very powerful and is rumored to be even stronger than the Empress. I wonder how the Empress managed to recruit so many experts in just over 1,000 years. The eyes of the Emperor's master flickered. The strength that the Dragon Phoenix Empire displayed just now made them feel a trace of fear. Based on the information they received, the longevity experts that the Dragon Phoenix Empire had were only slightly weaker than their Phoenix Empire. If they were to fight, even if they could win, they would suffer heavy losses. Emperor Phoenix is very confident this time. Perhaps Emperor Phoenix has other trump cards. Sacred Flame Patriarch muttered. Let's hope so. The Imperial Master nodded. Because he had sent them here in advance, they didn't know that the 10,000 Fey Empire had joined forces with the Phoenix Empire. In fact, Emperor Phoenix didn't trust them at all. After all, the Phoenix Empire was built by the Empress herself. All the powerhouses fought with the Empress. He was afraid that someone would leak the news, so he didn't tell anyone. In the imperial capital, a storm had ended. Everyone in the entire city was talking about what had just happened. Wang Xian looked in the direction where the empire of 10,000 demons had left, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. If it was the Aoshan Empire or the Draconid Empire that was causing trouble, he might have to consider the consequences. However, if it was the empire of 10,000 demons, there was no longer a need. Wang Xian looked at He Yuan and the rest who had entered the restaurant and immediately walked over. Lord Ao was simply too domineering just now. He was facing two demon emperors of the empire of 10,000 demons alone, and his sword radiance was pointed straight at them, causing the two demon emperors to be extremely fearful. After all, he is a subordinate of our Dragon King. He is simply too cool. Alright, I wonder where Brother Wang Xian is now. Just as he arrived at the entrance of the private room in the restaurant, Wang Xian heard a voice coming from inside. He smiled and knocked on the door of the private room. Come in. The door was opened by a young man. When everyone in the private room saw Wang Xian, they were slightly stunned. Sir Wang. A group of Heaven's Pride disciples from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire stood up nervously and greeted him respectfully. Long Xiaotian and He Yuan also stood up immediately and opened their mouths slightly. Long time no see. I'm here to catch up with you guys. What? Don't you recognize me? Wang Xian looked at them and smiled. He walked over and patted Long Xiaotian and He Yuan on the shoulders. How could it be? How could it be? It's just that I didn't expect that my good brother from back then would be so powerful now. Ah. When I told others in the Luhai district, they didn't believe me. Long Xiaotian reacted and said excitedly. Hee brother. Brother Wang, I didn't expect you to come looking for us. He Yuan looked at Wang Xian. His face was also filled with excitement and excitement. The current Wang Xian was no longer the young man who drank with them back then. Instead, he was an existence who stood at the peak of the continent and possessed a terrifying force. They initially thought that both parties would be people from two different worlds in the future. They didn't expect Wang Xian to come looking for them today. Haha, there's no need to be so formal. When we first met, you were so proud that you wanted to teach me a lesson. Wang Xian smiled and sat at the side without putting on any airs. I was still young and impulsive back then. When I first met Brother Wang Xian, I wanted to teach you a lesson. In the end, you defeated me. He Yuan recalled the past and couldn't help but smile as he spoke. The group of young men and He Sui Qing and a few girls at the side looked at Wang Xian with admiration. They looked at the three of them as they chatted. Later on, the group of people also relaxed and chatted occasionally. Wang Xian chatted with Long Xiaotian and He Yuan for more than 2 hours. You two are the only friends that I, Wang Xian, have in the Transcendence continent. Xiaotian, your cultivation talent is a little lacking. I'll get you a longevity level bloodline in a while. He Yuan, your talent is sufficient to cultivate to the longevity level. I won't give you anything else. When you marry He Suiqing, you must call me. Wang Xian said to Long Xiaotian and He Yuan before he left. In the restaurant, Long Xiaotian and He Yuan were filled with excitement. This was especially so for Long Xiaotian. He was only at the 2nd level of the see-through void tier. It would be a miracle if he could reach the 5th or 6th level of the see-through void tier in his lifetime. However, Wang Xian's words could make him stand at the peak of the supernatural continent. He Yuan was also extremely excited. Wang Xian's words meant that he would be nurtured to the realm of longevity, not to mention that he would marry He Suiqing in the future. No one would think that Wang Xian was bragging. That was because if he said it out loud, he would have the ability to achieve it. This made He Suiqing's face turn red with excitement. The rest of the young men looked at them enviously and tried to curry favor with them. Hee. Wang Xian walked out of the restaurant in a good mood. Long Xiaotian and He Yuan were his only 2 friends in the supernatural continent. Naturally, he had to lend a hand. This was not a difficult task for him. Let's go to Feng Wan's place. Maybe she is very confused now. Wang Xian moved his body and teleported directly into the palace of the Emperor of Dragon and Phoenix. Xiao Xian. When he arrived, a group of girls shouted at him. Ao Jian's actions were ordered by me. Wang Xian pinched the faces of a few girls, causing them to scold him. Then he said directly to Feng Wan. I heard from Feng Lingtian that it's fine to offend them. These guys from the 10,000 Fei Empire are very annoying. Feng Wan shook her head nonchalantly. As for why Wang Xian wanted to do this, she would not ask. They are the ones who want to die. I will return to the Dragon Palace in a while. I will return on the day of the founding ceremony of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Wang Xian saw that Feng Wan did not ask further. He did not explain too much and said with a twinkle in his eyes. Little Xian, are you? Feng Wan heard his words and looked at him with some doubt. There are some things, but you don't have to worry about them, Feng Wan. Just focus on the inauguration ceremony of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Leave the rest to me. Wang Xian didn't tell them about the Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Demons Empire. Chapter 1738. 1738 Phoenix Cry 9 Heavens Empire was established 3. Feng Wan took a look at Wang Xian and didn't ask about the specifics. After chatting with the group of girls for a while, Wang Xian went straight to the Dragon Palace. Prime Minister Gue, gather all the members of the Dragon Palace. There will be a huge battle soon. Wang Xian entered the Dragon Palace and ordered Prime Minister Gue. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gue replied immediately and began to gather all the leaders. In less than 5 minutes, other than the strange demon and the golden swordfish who were staying in the imperial capital, all the 17,000 warriors of the Dragon Palace were gathered at the Dragon Field. Even the Firehammer clan who was responsible for forging weapons were gathered. Wang Xian's gaze swept across all the members of the Dragon Palace. There were 17,000 of them, and the weakest one was at level 3 of the see-through realm. They possessed the combat strength of the 4th level of the see-through realm. There were a total of 90 members of the Dragon Palace who could match the combat strength of a half-step into the longevity realm. This was not even counting the powerhouses of the Dragon Spur Division and the Dragon Guard. There will be a real battle tomorrow. Now, all the members of the Dragon Palace will practice. Wang Xian looked at all the members of the Dragon Palace and said in a low voice. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gue and the other leaders nodded their heads heavily and began to arrange their troops. The battle tomorrow would be a real battle. The Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Demons Empire had a total of 600,000 to 700,000 experts. Among them, there were 70,000 to 80,000 insightful Void Realm experts. The two empires had sent out 70,000 to 80,000 insightful Void Realm experts. This was definitely an extremely terrifying number. At the same time, this was almost the entire strength of the two empires. In terms of the number of insightful Emptiness Realm experts, the two empires had completely crushed the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Even with the addition of the Dragon Palace, the number was undoubtedly overwhelming. However, Wang Xian was not afraid at all. Currently, there were 20,000 insightful Emptiness Realm experts from the Dragon Palace and around 15,000 insightful Emptiness Realm experts from the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. The reason why the Dragon Phoenix Empire had so many experts was mainly due to the arrival of the Fire Lark tribe. When the two forces were added together, there were a total of 35,000 insightful Emptiness Realm experts. In terms of numbers, it was still more than double the difference between the two empires. However, there was still the Nine-God Empire. Mo Shah had brought over 10,000 insightful Emptiness Realm experts. Furthermore, all of them were the elites of the Nine-God Empire and were experts above level 3 of the insightful Emptiness Realm. Including them, there were about 45,000 insightful Emptiness Realm experts. Although they were still lagging behind, they were much stronger than the two empires in terms of strength. One had to know that the lowest level of the Dragon Palace, level 3 of the insightful Emptiness Realm, could fight against level 4 of the insightful Emptiness Realm. The Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Fey Empire had 80% of the experts from level 1 to level 3 of the insightful Emptiness Realm. In terms of overall strength, they had the upper hand. Even though the current analysis showed that they had the upper hand, Wang Xian still could not afford to slack off. In order to avoid any losses, Wang Xian instructed all the members of the Dragon Palace to be 100% prepared. The long-range attacks, close-range attacks, and the supporting Dolphin clan. All the members of the Dragon Palace started to practice and prepare for the upcoming battle. Time slowly passed, and the day of the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire soon arrived. Early in the morning, the entire Imperial City was bustling with activity. Everyone walked towards the front of the Imperial City. In the ruins of the former Divine Kingdom, in front of the statue of the Master of the Divine Kingdom, there was a huge field. That field was not crowded even when tens of millions of people gathered together. The statue had been removed and replaced with a statue that was covered by objects. There were many luxurious platforms set up in front of them. The Dragon and Phoenix Empire's army had gathered in the empty space in front of them. Many soldiers stood there neatly. There were more than a dozen viewing platforms on both sides. It was also the place where the various empires and factions observed the ceremony. As for the people at the front, they were standing one by one. Since a long time ago, tens of millions of people had crowded over here. If Feng Yuan and the others didn't forbid too many people from coming, there would have been hundreds of millions of people. There's still an hour before our empire is established. It's really exciting. The sixth great empire of the transcendent continent, the second empire established by a great empress in history. After today, our Dragon Phoenix Empire will truly stand at the top of the continent. Haha, this is the establishment of an empire. It's not something the Wuxia Empire could compare to. It's simply too spectacular. In the future we will also be citizens of the empire. Long live the Dragon Phoenix Empress. An incomparably lively voice came from the front. The citizens stood there waiting with excited faces. Cheers could be heard from time to time. Tens of millions of people. With a glance, all of them were densely packed with heads. If it weren't for the powerhouses maintaining order, even if every one of them wasn't weak, they would still be squeezed to death by so many people. They're here. The people from the major forces are here. Half an hour later, the other forces from the continent entered one by one. Each faction had at least 1,000 people, and many of them were led by longevity experts. This was especially so for the 5 great empires, which had all brought experts at the profound Void Realm. Following the arrival of the spectating groups of the various major factions, the ministers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the city lords of the various cities also walked in and stood at the front. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Oh, that's the Nine-God Emperor Lord? The newly born Emperor Lord of the Nine-God Empire. Why is he here personally? That's true, and the Nine-God Empire actually sent over 10,000 people this time. All of them are top-notch experts. Why are there so many people here? After the various large factions that came to observe the ceremony took their seats, they saw the experts of the Nine-God Empire who were located near the center, and their faces revealed shock. Especially when they saw the Nine-God Emperor come personally, their hearts were filled with disbelief. It seemed like it was impossible to invite the emperor of another empire to the grand ceremony of one empire. However, although they were puzzled, they could not find any answers. As everyone slowly entered the venue, the time for the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire was getting closer and closer. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Not long after, A crisp chirping sound rang out from behind the grand ceremony stage. The sound was filled with joy and nobility. When the chirping sound rang out, everyone looked towards the sky in unison. Everyone immediately shut their mouths and looked over excitedly. The grand ceremony for the establishment of the empire was about to begin. That is, the fire lark. When the factions that came to watch the ceremony saw the fire lark in the sky, they were all shocked. Following that, a familiar figure appeared. A row of fiery red battle armor, each battle armor having a fiery red wing. A red feather was stuck on the heads of the soldiers wearing battle armor. The 5,000 people were divided into two groups and slowly walked onto the stage. Each of their eyes were filled with excitement and tears. The fire cloud guards appeared. Chapter 1739. 1739 Phoenix Cry 9 Heaven's Empire was established for. Fire Cloud Personal Guard. That's the Fire Cloud Personal Guard. My God, why would the Fire Cloud Personal Guard appear here? Fire Cloud Sparrow Clan? How did they appear? Could it be that the Fire Cloud Sparrow has joined the Dragon Phoenix Empire? The Fire Cloud Personal Guard, who once accompanied the Empress throughout her life and was once the strongest army of the Phoenix Empire, actually appeared in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The familiar figure, the familiar attire, and the slowly condensing fire clouds in the sky. The flying Fire Cloud Sparrow demonic beast circled in the sky, causing all the factions that came to watch the ceremony to be able to confirm that this was the Fire Cloud Personal Guards. The most powerful personal guards of the Phoenix Empire. The left and right hands of the Empress. Seeing their appearance, all the factions that came to watch the ceremony couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. They had never expected that the famous Fire Cloud Sparrow clan would reappear, and that the Fire Cloud Personal Guards would reappear. What are the Fire Cloud Personal Guards? Hiss, when did our Dragon Phoenix Empire have so many experts? Fire Cloud Personal Guards, what are they? A total of 5,000 top-notch experts, oh my God. The spectators were not the only ones who were shocked. Even some of the ministers and city lords of the Dragon Phoenix Empire were looking at the group of personal guards who were walking over in shock. They did not know when the Dragon Phoenix Empire had such an army. As for the commoners, they were even more unaware. The Fire Cloud Personal Guards were once the personal guards of the Eternal Great Empress. They once followed the Great Empress to establish the Phoenix Empire. They are the Great Empress's most loyal subordinates. I don't know why they joined our Dragon Phoenix Empire. A few knowledgeable people who knew about the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan said to the people around them. What? The Eternal Empress's personal guard? Hearing this name, everyone was slightly shocked. Eternal Empress. Just these two words, everyone knew what it meant. When everyone from the Phoenix dynasty saw the Fire Cloud Personal Guard, their expressions were somewhat awkward. Chirp chirp. Chirp chirp. At this moment, the Fire Cloud Sparrow chirped again. The 5,000 Fire Cloud Guards lined up in two rows, leaving a path in the middle. At the end of the path, figures slowly appeared. The first to appear in front of everyone was Feng Yuan, who was wearing a veil. Beside her, Feng Yun respectfully stretched out his hand to support her arm. Feng Yuan was dressed in a fiery red dragon and phoenix robe. Her noble crown made her seem like a goddess who stood high up in the sky. Feng Yun was dressed like the leader of the Fire Cloud Personal Guards. He dutifully followed at the side. Behind them were a group of girls dressed in all kinds of beautiful and noble clothes. Including Xiaoyu, there were 9 girls. Every girl was like a fairy in the sky. Behind the 9 girls were the 5 longevity experts of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The group slowly walked toward the stage where the ceremony was held. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on Feng Yuan and the others. Why does this scene look familiar? I remember that when the Phoenix dynasty was founded, I went to watch the ceremony as well. The Fire Cloud Sparrow ancestor, Feng Yun, accompanied the Empress. It's so familiar. It's very similar to the time when the Phoenix dynasty was founded. It seems that the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan has completely submitted to the Dragon Phoenix Empire. They have once again established the Fire Cloud Personal Guard. They are also an empress. When the factions that came to attend the ceremony saw this scene, they whispered among themselves. Our empress is out. Behind the empress is our Dragon Phoenix Empire's Council of Elders. Wow, the elders of our Council of Elders are all goddesses. Haha, I think that our empire calling it the Goddess Empire is pretty good. Seeing Feng Yuan and the others slowly walking over, all the citizens of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire revealed heated expressions in their eyes. They stared at their Emperor Lord and Elder Council, their eyes filled with reverence. All the citizens of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire knew that their empire only took 8 years to establish. To establish an empire so quickly, one could imagine how powerful their empress was. Feng Yuan slowly walked over and walked to the ceremony stage. A group of female students and all the experts of the Dragon Phoenix Empire stood behind her. On the stage, Feng Yuan's gaze swept across the citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and everyone who came to watch the ceremony. Today, I thank all the major forces on the continent for participating in the founding ceremony of our Dragon Phoenix Empire. 8 years ago, the Dragon Phoenix Empire established a dynasty in a small city. 8 years later, the Dragon Phoenix Empire announced the establishment of the 6th largest empire on the continent. A clear voice came out of Feng Yuan's mouth and entered everyone's ears. As she spoke, she slowly took 2 steps forward. Upon hearing Feng Yuan's words, the pupils of some of the forces that were not very clear contracted slightly, and disbelief appeared on their faces. Years? How was this possible? The former number 1 empress of the Eternal Era used more than 1,000 years to build an empire. As expected of the Empress. Sacred Flame Ancestor and Emperor Master looked at each other. From their eyes, they saw the other party's fear and a trace of profound coldness. For more than 1,000 years, I have experienced frost and snow. Suddenly, under everyone's incredulous expressions, Feng Yuan slightly raised her head, and an imposing aura emitted from her body. Her words caused everyone's faces to reveal a puzzled expression. She had experienced frost and snow for more than 1,000 years. What did she mean by this? An eternal empress has once again descended upon the transcendent continent. In the next moment, an ice-cold voice resounded throughout the entire sky. In the sky above Feng Yuan, an incomparably huge fire phoenix slowly condensed. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The incomparably huge fire phoenix looked up into the sky and let out a phoenix cry. A phoenix cry from the 9 heavens. Buzz. The veil on Feng Yuan's face slowly disappeared. A face that was once familiar to everyone appeared in everyone's sight. It was an exquisite and beautiful face that did not seem to belong to the mortal world. There was an exquisite flaming phoenix dancing between her brows. Her brows were raised high. At this moment, everyone's faces revealed shock. Today I, Feng Yuan, announce the establishment of the 6th great empire of the extraordinary continent, the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Today I, Feng Yuan, announce to the world that the old me has returned. The old empress has returned. A cold and noble voice entered everyone's ears. The familiar face and the cold words caused everyone around to reveal shocked expressions. Even the Wansho experts from the Dragon Man Empire and the Aoshan Empire who had come to observe the ceremony revealed shocked expressions when they saw this face and heard the declaration. An eternal empress, Feng Yuan. How is this possible? Hasn't she already fallen? What's going on? The empress of the Dragon Phoenix Empire is actually the former empress. Heavens! Exclamations sounded from the mouths of the various large factions who had come to observe the ceremony. They stood up in shock and stared at Feng Yuan on the stage. Why had the fallen empress suddenly appeared here? Everyone was dumbfounded. Chapter 1740. 1740 Phoenix Cry 9 Heavens Empire was established 5. What? Our Dragon Phoenix Empress was the first empress of all time? Oh my god, how is this possible? According to the rumors, didn't the Phoenix Dynasty's empress fall more than 1,800 years ago? The first empress of all time is actually our Dragon Phoenix Empress. This is simply too shocking. No way, our empress is actually the number 1 empress of all time. Then, doesn't that mean that our empress is the only powerful existence on the continent who has successively established 2 great empires? The people who came to watch the ceremony had faces full of shock. All the ministers, soldiers and people of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire also had faces full of shock. Their empress was actually the number 1 empress of the continent in history. She was the only strange woman on the continent thousands of years ago. Chirp, chirp, chirp. At this moment, the fire phoenix that was dozens of kilometers in circumference condensed in the sky above Feng Yuan. The lifelike fire phoenix let out a phoenix cry. Phoenix cries into the 9 heavens. I, Feng Yuan, announced the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan's dignified gaze swept across everyone in front of her. Her voice transmitted into the minds of the tens of millions of people in front of her. Officials of the Dragon Phoenix Empire pay their respects to the Great Empress. At the very front, the officials of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire widened their eyes. They immediately knelt on the ground and shouted loudly. Even the officials of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire only knew of Feng Yuan's identity now. After learning of the true identity of their Dragon and Phoenix Empress, everyone was shocked and excited at the same time. No wonder their Empress had great talent and great plans. No wonder their Empress was able to manage the dynasty in an orderly manner. No wonder their Empress was able to make a dynasty become an empire so quickly. It turned out that her Empress was the legendary #1 Empress on the continent. This made the respect and reverence in their hearts even deeper. All of them knelt on the ground and shouted loudly with faces full of excitement. All the soldiers of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire pay their respects to the Empress. All the soldiers of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire immediately knelt on the ground and shouted excitedly. Walala! Pay our respects to the Empress. Behind them, the citizens also knelt on the ground with burning eyes and earth-shattering voices sounded. The voices of tens of millions of people reverberated within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. Ministers, soldiers, citizens. Rise! Feng Yuan's robes were light as a vast power swept towards the citizens of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. A powerful force made them stand up. All the citizens stood up and stared at the Empress on the stage in awe. The Dragon and Phoenix Empire was established as the sixth great empire of the extraordinary continent, and it was also the second empire that I, Feng Yuan, founded. Feng Yuan's lips parted slightly as she slowly explained when she saw everyone stand up. 1,800 years ago I was almost killed by a crafty person. Later, for revenge, I built the Dragon and Phoenix Empire step by step. Her voice continued to ring out. When she finished speaking, everyone had shocked expressions on their faces and their eyes were shining. It turns out that the #1 Empress of the Eternal World did not fall by accident during cultivation, but was killed by someone. The eyes of the various factions that came to observe the ceremony flashed with a bright light as they swept their gazes over the Phoenix dynasty. The patriarch of the Phoenix dynasty's Sacred Fire clan and the Emperor's teacher of the Phoenix dynasty stood there. They looked at the Empress with gloomy expressions. At this moment, everyone knew that there was a problem with the Phoenix dynasty. This caused the experts from the various factions to look pensive. No one would have thought that the Empress of the Dragon Phoenix Empire was actually the founder of the Phoenix dynasty, the #1 Empress of all time. Now that the Empress had returned for revenge, she would definitely engage in a battle with the Phoenix dynasty. It was hard to say who would win or lose. However, for the #1 Empress of all time to be able to establish another empire in such a short period of time, one could imagine how terrifying she was. During this period of time, I would like to thank the soldiers who fought with me, the loyalty of the Fire Cloud personal guards, and all the citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan's voice continued to ring out. Tens of millions of people stared blankly. As Feng Yuan spoke, her gaze swept across the area below. She was slightly puzzled when she realized that there was no sign of Wang Xian. The empire has been established. The Fire Cloud Sparrow clan is now named the Fire Cloud Personal Guards. They are now. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Feng Yuan continued speaking. The empire had been established, so naturally, it was necessary to confer titles upon them. However, at this moment, a signal flare suddenly appeared in the sky dozens of kilometers away. The signal flare flew into the sky, leaving behind a very eye-catching mark that lingered in the sky for a long time. Everyone in the Dragon and Phoenix Empire was slightly startled, and their faces revealed curious expressions. When Feng Yuan saw the signal flare, she also slightly raised her brows and her eyes flickered. However, she ignored it and continued with the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Below, the Sacred Flame Ancestor and the Emperor's Master saw that the signal had already been sent out, and their eyes flickered with a cold luster. Next, I really want to know, Sacred Flame, Emperor Wen, my former subordinates, do you have anything you want to say to me? One by one the positions were conferred. Feng Yuan suddenly changed the topic and looked in the direction of the Feng dynasty and asked indifferently. They're here. The Feng dynasty was created by our Empress. All the experts in the empire were promoted by the Empress. Just now, when the two longevity experts of the Feng dynasty saw our Empress, they were not excited at all. It seems that they betrayed the Empress. This bunch of ingrates. Without our Empress, the Phoenix Empire wouldn't be where it is today. They actually betrayed us. When everyone saw the Empress turn her words to the Phoenix Empire, they couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. All the ministers, soldiers and citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire stared coldly at the people of the Phoenix Empire. The anger and killing intent of tens of millions of people caused the expressions of everyone in the Phoenix Empire to change drastically. Empress, Sacred Flame Patriarch and the Emperor of the Feng Dynasty Di had a slight change in expression. Their eyes flickered as they shouted. Congratulations on establishing the Dragon Phoenix Empire, Empress. However, the Emperor of our Feng Dynasty is now Emperor Feng. We are loyal to Emperor Feng. One Emperor and one courtier. We have no choice. The Emperor's master said expressionlessly. No choice? After learning of the news of the Empress' death, not only did you not take revenge for the Empress, you even acted as accomplices for the tiger. Look at the current Feng Dynasty. In the hands of that crafty person, the people are living in misery. On the other hand, the 17 founding generals' families are thriving. As soon as the Emperor's master finished speaking, Feng Yun, who was standing behind Feng Yuan, shouted angrily. The current Emperor of the Feng Dynasty is Emperor Feng. No one else has the right to judge. I wonder what the Dragon and Phoenix Empress wants? To become enemies with our Feng Dynasty? The Emperor Master said indifferently with a dark expression. Haha, how about it? What belongs to me, I will naturally take it back. Those who hurt me and my family will naturally have to pay the price. Feng Yuan's gaze swept over Patriarch Sacred Flame and the Emperor Master, and a powerful killing intent shot out from her eyes. She didn't conceal it at all. All the surrounding forces that came to watch the ceremony watched this scene with flickering eyes. Next, there may be a good show to play out. Chapter 1741. 1741 Dragon Roar 9 Heaven's Dragon Palace was born. Kill them, kill those ingrates of the Phoenix Dynasty. Kill them, we will fight side by side with the Empress, kill those damn things. Kill those who offend our Empress, kill. When the people of the Dragon Phoenix Empire felt the powerful killing intent of Feng Yuan, all the soldiers and officials stared at the Phoenix Dynasty and roared loudly. Streams of cold killing intent locked onto everyone in the Phoenix Dynasty. At this moment, the Sacred Flame Patriarch and the Emperor's Master's expressions changed drastically. They swept their gaze behind them and a trace of cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. They were really afraid that Feng Yuan would kill them right now. With their strength, they were completely unable to fight against the experts of the entire Dragon Phoenix Empire. Dragon Phoenix Empress, you invited our Phoenix Dynasty to attend the ceremony. Could it be that you want to kill us? As the saying goes, if two countries fight, don't kill the envoys. As the #1 Empress of all time, aren't you going too far? The Sacred Flame Ancestor said to Feng Yuan with an embarrassed expression. That's right, attending the ceremony is attending the ceremony. If two countries fight, don't kill the envoys. As an empire, you have to do things openly. After this, the two empires can start a war at any time. At this moment, a faint voice came from the side. Everyone was slightly shocked and quickly looked over. The 10,000 Demon Empire was said by the 10,000 Demon Empire's Demon Emperor. It seems that the 10,000 Demon Empire is already very dissatisfied with the matter from the day before yesterday. That's why they directly spoke up to help the Phoenix Dynasty's people. Everyone looked at the 10,000 Demon Empire's Demon Emperor standing there arrogantly and they were slightly shocked. I won't make a move today and I don't need to. Very soon, I will lead my army to the Phoenix Dynasty and take back everything that belongs to me. Feng Yuan's cold gaze swept past the Demon Emperor of the 10,000 Fey Empire and landed on Sacred Flame and Emperor's Master. Dragon Phoenix Empress, don't be so confident. Patriarch Sacred Flame and Emperor's Master said indifferently with gloomy faces when they heard Feng Yuan's words. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly came from behind. The aura that suddenly rushed over made everyone slightly shocked. A trace of shock flashed through the eyes of the forces that came to watch the ceremony. The Sacred Flame Ancestor and the Emperor's Master felt the aura that rushed over and their faces lit up with joy. Haha, Dragon Phoenix Empress, don't be complacent too early. An empire that has just been established, what right does it have to oppose our Phoenix Dynasty? In the past there was no empress and in the future there will be no empress in this world. Haha, Dragon Phoenix Empire, prepare to be destroyed. The Sacred Flame Ancestor and the Emperor's Master looked at each other, then led all of their subordinates and directly flew towards the rear. They floated in the sky and stared at Feng Yuan as they coldly roared. The terrifying aura behind them grew stronger and stronger as figures appeared in everyone's line of sight. Hiss. Everyone, all the factions, sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw a huge army suddenly appear behind them. That's the Phoenix Dynasty's army. They should have known that the Dragon Phoenix Empress was the Phoenix Dynasty's Empress long ago. Their army actually directly attacked. Oh my god, so the Phoenix Empire was already prepared. Are they going to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire when it's established? Look at the 16 figures in the lead. The one in the middle is the Phoenix Emperor, the current monarch of the Phoenix Empire. He's come personally. 18 longevity experts. All the experts of the Phoenix Empire have come. Based on our observations, the Dragon Phoenix Empire only has 15 or 16 at most. We're not even sure if the girls behind the Empress are longevity experts. I didn't expect that the Phoenix Empire would attack when the Dragon Phoenix Empire was established. Shocked voices came from the experts who came to observe the ceremony. The establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire today was simply too shocking. The first Empress of the Eternal Era had appeared. The army of the Phoenix Empire had attacked. Oh no, the army of the Phoenix Empire has actually attacked. Damn it, they were prepared. The people of the Dragon Phoenix Empire felt the terrifying aura and almost knelt on the ground. Their faces were all red and extremely embarrassed. After all, this was the most powerful force of the Phoenix Dynasty. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. Are you guys so impatient? Feng Yuan stared at the hundreds of thousands of soldiers in front of her with a cold look in her eyes. Her pair of phoenix eyes stared at the middle-aged man with a beard in the middle. Emperor Feng. Ha, my good niece, I really didn't expect that you were still alive. I really didn't expect that you actually established the Dragon Phoenix Empire. I heard that 2 years ago an empire was established and was directly destroyed by you. It didn't even exist for a day. Now this emperor will imitate you, haha. A maniacal laughter came out of Emperor Feng's mouth. His voice was filled with strong confidence and a strong domineering air. The voice had a deafening feeling. Some of the weaker people hurriedly covered their ears with a pained expression on their faces. They looked at the expert who was like a god of fire as flames rose around him. Their faces were filled with fear. Feng Chaotian, back then, I single-handedly raised you to become the second most powerful expert of the Phoenix Dynasty. I didn't expect you to betray me. I also didn't expect you to kill all my family members in the dark. How can an ungrateful person like you be qualified to be an emperor? Anger appeared in Feng Yuan's eyes. Her body moved and she directly floated in the sky. She looked at the army of the Feng dynasty that was flying over 50 kilometers away. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. Feng Yuan, cut the crap. I could kill you 1,800 years ago, but I can still kill you today. Empress? Hee, there won't be an empress in this world. When Emperor Feng heard Feng Yuan's words, a ferocious expression appeared on his face. He directly roared. All civilians move to the rear. All soldiers get ready. Feng Yun's face was filled with solemnity when he saw the army of the Feng dynasty slowly approaching. He directly ordered all the civilians. Quickly move to the rear. I didn't expect the Feng dynasty to attack us. All soldiers get ready to face the enemy. A loud shout came from below as the civilians quickly flew toward the direction of the imperial capital. All the soldiers lined up, their gazes fixed on the army that was flying towards them. Every soldier's eyes were filled with a solemn expression. Ha, Feng Yuan, you have at most the strength of a Wanshou 4th rank, what do you have to fight with me? These soldiers of your Dragon Phoenix Empire are far inferior to the experts of our Phoenix Dynasty. Haha, what do you have to fight with me? Emperor Feng looked at the people who were hiding and the Dragon Phoenix Empire's army. He swept his gaze across them and shouted disdainfully. Chapter 1742 1742 Dragon Roar 9 Heaven's Dragon Palace was born. What do you have to fight with me? A confident voice came out of Emperor Feng's mouth. The longevity experts of the Phoenix Dynasty looked ahead with cold eyes. The citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire who had retreated to the imperial capital had an embarrassed look on their faces when they heard Emperor Feng's words. The core experts of the 17 founding families of the Phoenix dynasty have all come. This is almost 70% of the power of the entire Phoenix dynasty. Hiss, I really didn't expect that Emperor Feng and the others would actually hide not far away. It seems that the signal flare just now was an order to attack. The Empress might be in big trouble this time. With the current Dragon Phoenix Empire, it's still not a match for the Phoenix dynasty. The large factions that came to watch the ceremony immediately brought their disciples to the rear. They looked at the Phoenix dynasty that was pressing down on them and analyzed truthfully. Feng Chaodun, you are still as arrogant as before. Feng Yuan stared at Emperor Feng and said coldly. Haha, arrogant? It's because I, Emperor Feng, have the strength. Today your Dragon Phoenix Empire will definitely be destroyed. Emperor Feng laughed loudly and his body shook. An incomparably terrifying fire phoenix instantly condensed in the sky. The fire phoenix was also tens of kilometers in size and faced the fire phoenix in the sky above Feng Yuan. However, the fire phoenix condensed by Emperor Feng was much more powerful than Feng Yuan's. Damn it, Feng Chaodun, you actually extracted my bloodline, my blood. Emperor Feng's expression changed slightly when he saw the fire phoenix in the sky, and he shouted sternly. Haha, I want to thank your bloodline for making me so powerful. Chirp chirp chirp. Emperor Feng laughed out loud. The fire phoenix in the sky let out a wild cry as its icy cold eyes stared straight ahead. If you want to deal with the great Empress, you have to step over my body. Step over the body of our fire cloud personal guard. Feng Yun looked at the arrogant Emperor Feng and shouted out sternly. Kill? The eyes of every member of the fire cloud personal guard were filled with violent killing intent as they shouted out loudly. Kill? Beside them, all the soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire similarly roared out in a stern voice. An incomparably terrifying killing intent charged forward 10 kilometers. Haha, Feng Yun doesn't need Emperor Phoenix to make a move. I will be able to kill you today. Sacred Flame Ancestor's sinister eyes stared at Feng Yun as he roared loudly. Let the Dragon Phoenix Empire experience our strength. Kill? The Emperor Master waved his arm and a war flag appeared in his hand as he roared with killing intent. Kill kill kill? The disciples of the 17 founding families of the Phoenix Empire stared coldly ahead as their auras exploded out. An invisible aura charged towards all the soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. In an instant, the Dragon Phoenix Empire was at a disadvantage in terms of aura. Kiki, the Phoenix Empire has more than 30,000 insightful Void Realm experts, while the Dragon Phoenix Empire only has about 15,000. The gap is huge. They are no match for the Phoenix Empire at all. Perhaps it really is as the Phoenix Empire said. There is no empress in the world, not in the past and not in the future. At this moment, the voice of a demon emperor rang out from the 10,000 Fey Empire. His face was filled with mockery as he spoke without any hesitation. Everyone in the Dragon Phoenix Empire heard his words clearly. This caused the expressions of everyone in the Dragon Phoenix Empire to change drastically. They gulped as they looked towards the Phoenix dynasty, their eyes filled with worry. The other party had more than 30,000 longevity experts, more than double their number. The difference was simply too great. Haha, what sixth great empire of the continent? Prepare to be destroyed. Chirp 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 chirp. Emperor Phoenix laughed loudly, and the tyrannical voice of the fire phoenix in the sky rang out once more. It's over, our Dragon Phoenix Empire won't really. No, it's impossible. Our Dragon Phoenix Empire has just been established, and our Empress is the #1 Empress of the continent. How can we possibly fail? Some of the citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire revealed panicked expressions when they saw this scene. The panic quickly spread to the surroundings. Feng Yuan looked at all the power of the Phoenix Empire ahead and took a deep breath. The power of the Phoenix Empire was indeed much stronger than the current Dragon Phoenix Empire. At the very least, he is an Emperor Lord of one of the 5 great empires on the continent. Today he has really broadened my horizons. If you want to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire, ask me, Emosha, if I agree. All of a sudden, a voice filled with ridicule and contempt sounded out, causing all the factions and people from the Dragon Phoenix Empire who came to watch the ceremony to be slightly startled. Boom boom. The moment the voice sounded out, waves of terrifying auras directly charged over. Emo Sha and all the experts of the Nine-God Empire who had been standing at the side all this while moved. They directly floated in the sky and stood beside Feng Yuan. Monstrous demonic chi instantly condensed in the sky. What? The Emperor of the Nine-God Empire, why did he directly help the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Hiss, my god, what's the situation? Why did the Nine-God Empire help the Dragon Phoenix Empire? Seeing the Nine-God Empire participate in the battle, everyone was shocked. Apart from the Phoenix and Fire Cloud Sparrow, everyone else was shocked. The Emperor of the Nine-God Empire led all the experts to help the Dragon Phoenix Empire. This actually caused another empire to intervene. The Nine-God Empire intervened. This was unexpected. Half of the 6 empires on the continent were at war. Kikik, your Phoenix Empire doesn't have the strength to kill the Great Empress. I originally thought that I would exterminate all of you after a period of time. Since I'm here, it saves me a lot of trouble. Emo Sha floated in the sky and stared proudly at everyone from the Phoenix Empire as he laughed loudly. This is such a familiar voice. The Nine-God Empire actually helped us. Ah, that's great. A great empire on the continent is directly helping our Great Empress and our Dragon Phoenix Empire. This time it's not them destroying us but us destroying them. Ah. I didn't expect our Great Empress to have such a great trump card. Kill the Phoenix Empire, kill them. Kill them. Everyone from the Dragon Phoenix Empire was excited. They didn't expect the Nine Gods Empire to be their helper. Lord of the Nine Gods, this is the grudge between our Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Are you all going to interfere? When Emperor Phoenix saw the Nine-God Empire suddenly interfere and heard Emo Sha's words, his expression instantly turned ugly as he roared with a malevolent expression. Kiki, I don't like people like you. What can you do to me if you interfere? Kiki. Emo Sha's arrogant laughter continued to ring out. Patriarch Sacred Flame and the Emperor Master of the Phoenix Dynasty revealed a trace of fear on their faces. They had never expected that the Nine-God Empire would help the Empress. What the two of them didn't notice was that there was no worry in the eyes of the surrounding experts of the Phoenix Dynasty. There was no fear in the somewhat crazed eyes of the Phoenix Emperor. He stared at the void in front of him and revealed a ferocious smile. Today, no matter who helps you, they will not be able to stop the destruction of your Dragon Phoenix Empire. Whoever dares to help Feng Yuan, this emperor will destroy them. His voice that was still filled with arrogance and confidence resounded throughout the entire sky. Chapter 1743 1743 Dragon Roar 9 Heaven's Dragon Palace was born. Whoever dares to help Feng Yuan, I will destroy them. His confident and domineering tone resounded throughout the sky. Looking at Emperor Feng's ferocious expression and the flames in his eyes, everyone around was shocked. They did not understand why Emperor Feng was so confident and domineering. With the strength of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Nine-God Empire, even if this was not the full strength of the Nine-God Empire, it was enough to resist or even destroy the Feng dynasty. Feng Yuan and Emo Sha frowned slightly when they saw Emperor Feng, who was still so confident and overbearing. They realized that the Phoenix Empire didn't feel any fear when they saw the Nine-God Empire attack. Prepare to die. Emperor Feng's voice sounded again. Roar. Roar. Chirp. Suddenly, a violent voice sounded from behind Feng Yuan and the others. All kinds of shaking and roars sounded. The entire world seemed to shake. Hearing this voice, Emperor Feng smiled. He had been waiting for this voice. Otherwise, with his character, he wouldn't have talked to Feng Yuan for so long. What's the situation? Oh my god, look behind us. 10,000 beasts are galloping. Hundreds of thousands of demon beasts are galloping. Hiss, what's the situation? Which faction are those demon beasts? Oh my god, they are? They are members of the 10,000 Fey Empire. A series of shocked voices came from the members of the factions that came to watch the ceremony, as well as the generals and ministers of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. They stared at the various demonic beasts and beasts that were rushing over in shock. There were hundreds of demonic beasts that were hundreds of meters in size and thousands of meters in size. At the very front, there was a demonic beast that had flaming wings and green wings. Its body was hundreds of meters long, and red and green light was flowing all over its body. It was a heaven and earth mutated beast, from the transcendent continent. It had two attributes: the demon emperor of the 10,000 Fey Empire, the Nine Heavens Demonic Bird Emperor Lord. Chirp chirp, Emperor Phoenix, you guys came fast. A proud voice came from the Nine Heavens Demonic Bird Emperor Lord's mouth. His face was relaxed as if he was greeting an old friend. It's the Nine Heavens Demonic Bird Monarch. You guys are too slow. The Phoenix Monarch smiled when he saw hundreds of thousands of demonic beasts charging over. The 10,000 Fey Empire was much stronger than the Phoenix Dynasty. There were more than 40,000 void interpretation level experts. There were a terrifying 26 longevity level experts. In addition to the Nine Heavens Demonic Bird Monarch's invincible strength, they had 100% confidence in destroying the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Hiss, the 10,000 Fey Empire is actually the 10,000 Fey Empire. The entire 10,000 Fey Empire's Fey Thearchs and Fey Emperors are here. How can they be finished? The Dragon Phoenix Empire is going to be finished, completely finished. Oh my god, the 4 great empires on the continent have joined in. The Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Fey Empire have obviously sent out all their experts. The 9 God Empire's strength is much weaker. How terrifying. It's really a bumpy ride. A series of shocked voices sounded. Everyone looked stiffly at the experts of the 10,000 Fey Empire who were surrounding them from behind and took a deep breath. The establishment of an empire had triggered a war between the 4 empires. Why did I vaguely hear someone say that they wanted to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire? I wanted to ask if he agreed. Now, I want to ask if the 10,000 Fey Empire wants to destroy the Great Empress. Who doesn't agree? 900,000 demon beasts charged over as though they were destroying the world, causing the entire sky to lose its color. Demonic chi filled the sky for 100,000 li. The voice of the 9 Heavens Demonic Bird Monarch slowly sounded. They stopped 10,000 meters in the sky and looked down. The 9 Heavens Demonic Bird scanned all the powers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and stared coldly at Emo Sha. Oh no. Damn it, why is the 10,000 Fey Empire here too? Emo Sha's expression changed slightly when he saw the 9 Heavens Fey Bird Monarch staring at him as he growled in a low voice. Feng Yuan scanned all the experts of the 10,000 Fey Empire as her expression changed drastically. The Phoenix Empire probably did not expect the 9 God Empire to help them. She also did not expect the 10,000 Fey Empire to actually use their entire empire's strength to attack them. However, when she saw the familiar aura coming from the 9 Heavens Fey Bird Monarch's flaming wings, her expression changed instantly as a flame of anger jumped in her eyes. The 26 longevity experts of the 10,000 Fey Empire have all arrived. The 18 longevity experts of the Phoenix Empire have all arrived as well. There are actually 44 longevity experts. On the other hand, the Dragon Phoenix Empire only has about 20 at most. It would be extremely difficult to deal with even one of the 10,000 Fey Empire. The Dragon Phoenix Empire is completely finished. The 9 Heavens Demonic Bird Sovereign of the 10,000 Fey Empire has the bearing of a dragon and is an invincible existence at the level of level 6 longevity. A shocked voice came from the mouths of the spectators. If your Aoshan Empire did not participate, the Dragon Phoenix Empire would be finished. When the longevity expert from the Dragonman Empire saw this scene, he raised his brows and said to the longevity expert from the Aoshan Empire, "We did not participate." The longevity expert from the Aoshan Empire shook his head. After hearing the words of the Dragonman Empire's expert, he knew that the Dragonman Empire didn't get involved. This time, the Dragon Phoenix Empire was going to be destroyed. Nearby, the Dragon Phoenix Empire's soldiers, courtiers, and citizens had a look of despair on their faces. 9 God Empire, I'll give you 5 seconds to consider. If you still want to help the Empress within 5 seconds, then I'll destroy you. 9 Heaven Demonic Bird Emperor Lord Emo Rant's eyes stared at Emo Sha as he continued to speak indifferently. Whoever interferes today will be destroyed. This time, no one in the entire transcendent continent will be able to save you. Feng Yuan, I want to see if you can still survive. Emperor Feng glanced at Emo Sha and smiled sinisterly. His gaze landed on Feng Yuan as the flames in his eyes continued to throb. Roar. How dare you kill a member of our 10,000 Fey Empire? Dragon Phoenix Empire, I said that I will let you witness the roars of 10,000 beasts that wreak havoc in the world. I will make your Dragon Phoenix Empire become the paradise of the 10,000 Fey Empire. In the spectating forces, the 2 demon emperors saw that their 9 Heavens Demon Bird Emperor Lord had arrived and began to laugh bloodily. So, Emperor Phoenix's greatest trump card is the 10,000 Fey Empire. No wonder he is so confident. Patriarch's sacred flame and the Emperor's master heaved a sigh of relief. Clang, clang, clang. Ah. However, at that moment, an extremely sharp sword beam rang out. It was accompanied by a series of screams. What? The Phoenix dynasty, the 10,000 Fey Empire, and everyone around them quickly looked over. They were shocked to see a swordsman wielding a golden sword piercing through the two demon emperors who had spoken earlier with 10,000 sharp sword beams. Even thousands of demon beast experts died under his attack. He instantly killed two demon emperors of the first rank of the longevity realm. How dare you be so arrogant and stupid in our Dragon Phoenix Empire? Ao Jian said expressionlessly. Roar, roar, roar. You're courting death. Kill all the living beings in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Seeing that its demon emperor was killed, the Nine Heavens demon bird felt provoked. It roared and gave the order to slaughter the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Instantly, all the demon beasts in the 10,000 demon empire started to move. The Phoenix dynasty's Phoenix Emperor narrowed his eyes slightly and a staff appeared in his hand. War broke out. Roar. 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 But at this moment, 9 terrifying dragon roars and draconic aura came from afar. I am the Dragon King, the master of the Dragon Palace. Today, when the Dragon Phoenix Empire is established, the Dragon Palace has 2 announcements. Firstly, the Dragon Palace has announced its birth. Secondly, kill the enemy. A calm voice sounded on the battlefield that was about to erupt. Chapter 1744. 1744 Dragon King of the 1744 Dragon Palace. A calm voice resounded across the sky. The entire voice was calm as if it was just a small matter. Roar. After the voice ended, another dragon roar appeared. 9 dragon roars and 9 roars. The voice was filled with nobility and tyranny, as if it was a divine beast that had descended. Dragon Palace announced, birth. Dragon Palace announced, kill the enemy. Dragon Palace? What force? Hiss, what a terrifying pressure. The owner of these 9 voices is definitely an expert at the longevity level. What force is Dragon Palace? This aura is so terrifying. The voice suddenly sounded, causing the war that was about to erupt to pause slightly. Everyone from the 10,000 Demon Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty who were about to attack looked to the right with solemn expressions. The aura coming from there made their hearts palpitate. It's Lord Wang's voice. Lord Wang is here. Ah. That's right. It's Lord Wang. Lord Wang has always had his own faction called the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace is very powerful. The Dragon Phoenix Empire was able to be established so quickly because of Lord Wang and the experts from the Dragon Palace. What a powerful aura. We've seen Lord Wang's subordinates before, but we've never seen all the power of the Dragon Palace. Now, Lord Wang has announced the birth of the Dragon Palace. Lord Wang has appeared again. At the critical moment, Lord Wang was able to turn the tide. This time he will definitely be able to do the same. Hearing the voice, all the citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire showed excitement on their faces, which were filled with fear and despair. Every time there was a disaster in the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and every crisis, Lord Wang would be able to resolve it in a timely manner. In fact, when some of the soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire heard this voice, their hearts slightly relaxed. This was especially so for the group of people who had followed the Empress 8 years ago. They understood this in their hearts. Lord Wang had contributed 70% to the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Another one to die. The 9 heavens demonic bird stared at the desolate sea with its cold, 2-colored eyes, which were shining with red and green light. I don't believe that the newcomer can match the strength of the empire. Emperor Feng looked a bit embarrassed. The 9-god empire and the unfamiliar Dragon Palace made him very irritated. Everyone looked toward the desolate sea. Hiss, those 9 creatures. 10 seconds later, a huge team appeared in everyone's sight. The leader was 9 creatures that were 1,000 meters in size. They had slender bodies and green dragon scales covered their entire bodies. Their ferocious heads carried a trace of dignity as they swayed their huge bodies in the air. However, this was not what shocked everyone the most. What was shocking was that these 9 terrifying creatures that looked like they were above the longevity experts were actually pulling a throne. On the throne sat a young man. The young man wore a 7-colored dragon robe and a 7-colored crown on his head. On the left and right of the young man stood 2 creatures. One of them was a strange turtle man with a turtle shell on his back. The other held a fan in his hand. He looked like a maid. He had a pair of sky blue wings that were filled with patterns. Behind the young man were combat divisions that held weapons. There was a demon monkey that was over 10 meters tall and held a metal rod in his hand. There was a thunder shrimp that was 4 to 5 meters long and held a thunder spear in one hand and a thunder hammer in the other. There was a yaksha that held a trident and looked extremely majestic as water flowed around its body. There was also a vertical-eyed archer who held a bow and arrow in his hand. Each and every one of these extraordinary creatures exuded a powerful strength. There were nearly 20,000 experts. This was especially so for the leaders of each combat division. The aura on their bodies was like an abyss. The entire powerful team was like an emperor patrolling. 17 to 8,000 creatures. All of them are at least at the profound void realm. Moreover, they are not ordinary profound void realm experts. 9 longevity level existences pulling the throne. This. Even if the Dragon Emperor of the Draconid Empire goes out, it's only 2 longevity level first level experts pulling the throne. What a terrifying force, Dragon Palace. When did the extraordinary continent have such a powerful aura? More than 200,000 longevity level experts. This team actually has more than 20 longevity level experts. The forces that came to watch the ceremony were shocked when they saw the Dragon Palace. The 9 longevity experts pulled the thrones and the teams with longevity experts. More than 20 longevity experts. Such terrifying strength was comparable to the Empire, and they were among the top few in the Empire. In particular, these 20,000 creatures were all existences above the profound void realm. Each of them exuded an extraordinary aura. Isn't this too domineering? Lord Wang is simply too cool. Is this the true strength of the Dragon Palace? It's simply too terrifying. Oh my God, our Lord Wang's power is even stronger than our Dragon Phoenix Empire. Shocked voices came from the citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire as well as the generals and ministers. Even the upper echelons of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire could not imagine that Lord Wang, who had always helped the Empress, actually possessed such terrifying strength. They knew that the group of golden swordsmen Ao Jian, who had killed 2 demon emperors in one move, also belonged to Lord Wang. This time they were only here to help the Dragon and Phoenix Empire hold the fort. With the addition of the group of golden swordsmen, Lord Wang had more than 20,000 void interpretation experts under him. Feng Yuan smiled when she saw all the forces of the Dragon Palace coming over. No wonder little Xian didn't come over just now. It turns out that he had already discovered the people of the Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Fei Empire. Behind them, Guan Shuqing, Lan Qingyue, and a few other girls were discussing in a low voice. Looking at Wang Xian who was sitting on the throne, their faces revealed a proud expression. This was their man. Hello, everyone from all the major forces in the Transcendence continent. I am Prime Minister Gue of the Dragon Palace. During the establishment of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, I would like to announce that our Dragon Palace has officially stepped onto the central stage of the continent. The team from the Dragon Palace arrived at a spot 10 kilometers away. Prime Minister Gue cupped his hands at everyone around him and said calmly, Initially my Dragon Palace didn't want to come out. However, the day before yesterday I saw you guys sneakily entering the vast region and trying to destroy the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Then, I have no choice but to wait for you. After Prime Minister Gue finished speaking, Wang Xian spoke indifferently and swept his gaze across everyone from the 10,000 Demon Empire and the Phoenix Empire. At this moment, the 10,000 Demon Empire and the Phoenix Empire, who saw the strength of the Dragon Palace, had a solemn expression on their faces. This was especially so for the Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird. He never expected that this person who had suddenly appeared in a faction would actually possess a strength that was comparable to the 10,000 Demon Empire. This caused his eyes to be filled with solemnity. TSK boss, you're finally here. These guys are a little arrogant. They even said that no one would be able to protect the Empress and the Dragon Phoenix Empire today. Boss, let's take care of them. TSK. When Mo Sha saw Wang Xian's arrival and swept his gaze across the factions of the Dragon Palace, his pupils constricted slightly as he cried out strangely. Chapter 1745. 1745. Since 1745 was here, let's fight. Emo Sha's voice resounded in the sky. His unique voice was full of arrogance. When he saw all the power of the Dragon Palace, his eyes were full of shock. This was the first time he saw the power of the Dragon Palace. The Nine-God Empire was much weaker than the Dragon Palace. Boss? The Nine-God Emperor actually called the Dragon King boss. I remember that the Dragon King is the young man who appeared in the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan more than 3 years ago. Back then, Emo Sha directly knelt down and called him boss. It is said that he is Emo Sha's savior. The sudden appearance of the Dragon Palace, together with the strength of the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Nine-God Empire, is not weaker than the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty at all. To be able to pull the throne with 9 longevity-level creatures, his strength is very likely not weaker than the 9-Heaven Fey Bird Emperor. I wonder if this war will still be able to start. The people from the various factions who came to watch the ceremony said with astonishment. I remember now. This familiar voice is the old man who used to follow Lord Wang with monstrous demonic flames. At that time he called Lord Wang Boss Devil. I didn't expect him to actually become the Nine-God Empire's Emperor Lord. So it's him. This Emperor Lord's strength has increased so quickly. In just a few years he has become so terrifying. However, our Lord Wang seems to have become even stronger. The citizens of the Dragon Phoenix Empire also recalled the identity of the Nine Gods Overlord. All of them were filled with shock. Almost all the elite powerhouses of the two empires have arrived. They are really giving face to Feng Yuan. However, I want to see if you guys have the strength to destroy the Dragon Phoenix Empire today. Wang Xian smiled faintly when he heard Emo Sha's words. He looked at the 9 Heavens demonic bird overlord and a terrifying aura charged directly at him. The powerful dragon's aura actually solidified and turned into a 7-colored divine dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. Crash. Sensing the dragon's aura charging at him, the expression of the Emperor of the 9 Heavens demonic bird changed slightly. His wings trembled. The aura of a red-green demonic bird soared into the sky and intertwined with the 7-colored divine dragon in the air. The terrifying collision of auras actually caused the sky to change. Level 6 Longevity. The instant of the collision caused the 9 Heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord's face to reveal a serious expression as he spoke with a heavy face. Level 6 Longevity. As expected, that Dragon King can match the 9 Heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord. The experts who came to watch the ceremony narrowed their eyes as they spoke with a face full of shock. In this world, another top-tier expert had appeared. Level 6 Longevity, Level 6 Longevity. Emperor Phoenix held his arm tightly when he saw this scene. His expression was extremely ugly. His current strength was only Level 5 Longevity. All the longevity experts in the entire Phoenix dynasty looked extremely ugly. They were even a little frightened. This Dragon King, this is the grudge between our Phoenix dynasty and the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Tell me, what will it take for you to agree not to take action? Emperor Feng's expression changed drastically. If he could not destroy the Empress today, he would not be able to sleep and eat in peace in the future. With the Empress's terror, it would not be long before he would face crazy revenge. However, facing the terrifying Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, he could only think that he should not interfere. Haha, Phoenix Dynasty, why don't you take a look at our relationship with Sister Feng Yuan and the Dragon Phoenix Empire? As soon as Emperor Feng finished his words, Guan Shuqing and the other girls behind Feng Yuan revealed mocking expressions. How could they stop the Dragon Palace from making a move? Hee, the beautiful elders of the Dragon Phoenix Empire are Lord Wang's younger sister and wife. If the Dragon King doesn't make a move, Emperor Feng really dares to think about it. Yeah, they are afraid of Lord Wang's power. Now they are not as arrogant and domineering as before. They say that no one can stop them. It's a slap in the face. All the officials and soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire revealed mocking smiles when they heard the words of Emperor Feng and Guan Shuqing. Feng Yuan also smiled faintly at the side. In this world, other than the Firelark clan, the only people she trusted the most were Wang Xian and the rest. To them, Emperor Feng's words were extremely laughable. When Emperor Feng and everyone from the Phoenix Empire heard the mocking voices, their expressions changed drastically. Do you really think that we are afraid of you? We are stronger than you in terms of longevity level strength. Emperor Phoenix roared with a slightly malevolent expression. He looked at the 9 Heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord, his eyes filled with violent killing intent. The eyes of the nine heavens demonic bird emperor lord flickered. He flapped his wings slightly and looked at all the experts from the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and the Nine God Empire. The difference in strength between the two sides wasn't very big, especially since the other side had a strong expert at the same realm as him. If they really fought, even if they could destroy the other side, they wouldn't be able to survive more than 30%. This was a method of killing 1,000 enemies at the cost of 800. This made him hesitate. We probably won't be able to fight. How are we going to fight? We are evenly matched. If we really fight, even if one side can win, we will suffer heavy casualties. We will lose more than half of our strength. Emperor Jiuqian is hesitating. He doesn't dare to make a move. The losses are too great. Some of the powerhouses who came to watch the ceremony analyzed. They couldn't afford to fight in such a situation. I really didn't expect that there would be so many powerhouses in such a small and vast area. Today I congratulate you on the establishment of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. The Nine Heavens demonic bird monarch raised his head slightly and looked at Feng Yuan and Wang Xian as he said indifferently. The 10,000 Demon Empire will not disturb your empire's founding ceremony. Let's go. The Nine Heavens demonic bird monarch's cold voice continued to ring out as he ordered all the demonic beasts and ferocious beasts of the 10,000 Demon Empire. When Emperor Feng saw this scene, his expression kept changing. When he saw the 10,000 Fey Empire preparing to leave, he took a deep breath and scanned all of them vigilantly. Go. Emperor Feng ordered with a gloomy face. Next he had to consider how to resist Feng Yuan's revenge. If they were to attack, the 10,000 Fey Empire would not use all of their strength to help them. Do you think you can just come and go as you wish? However, just when everyone thought that this war could not be fought, Wang Xian's voice suddenly rang out. His words caused the Nine Heavens Demon Bird Emperor, Phoenix Emperor, and the rest to be slightly stunned. Killing intent shot out from their eyes. Disciples of the Dragon Palace, get ready. At this moment, Prime Minister Gui shouted loudly. His aura instantly soared into the sky. Roar! Roar! The group of demon monkeys and phoenix mounts let out roars one after another. The members of the Dragon Palace dispersed slowly. Powerful battle intent was emitted from their bodies. They held their weapons tightly and locked onto the Phoenix Empire and the Empire of 10,000 Demons. Since you are here, let's fight. Since our Dragon Palace has appeared, we must kill the enemy today. Wang Xian stood up slowly and locked his aura onto the Nine Heavens Demon Bird and Emperor Phoenix. When they saw the aura of the Dragon Palace, everyone's expression changed drastically. This was a request for a fight. Chapter 1746. 1746 The Suffocating Dragon King of 1746. What are the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace doing? Are they not going to let the people of the Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire leave? Is this a war? If they were to fight, the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and the Nine God Empire wouldn't gain any benefits, right? From the current situation, the strength of the Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire is obviously higher than the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Everyone was shocked when they saw the members of the Dragon Palace lock onto the two empires with a strong aura. In such a situation, it would definitely be a fierce battle if they were to fight. It was hard to say whether the Dragon Palace could win or not. Fighting was not a wise choice for either side. After that, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace did not let the other party leave. Dragon King, don't be too arrogant. Do you believe that if you dare to make a move, I have the confidence to behead you here? The Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird swept his gaze across all the members of the Dragon Palace. His cold dual-colored eyes stared at Wang Xian and his tone was filled with anger. Do you really think that we left because we were afraid of you? Emperor Phoenix also roared at Wang Xian with a ferocious expression. Demon bird of the Nine Heavens, a mutated species of heaven and earth. I would like to experience it. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. He swept his gaze across the demon bird of the Nine Heavens and did not place Emperor Phoenix in his eyes at all. In the entire empire of 10,000 demons and the Dragon Phoenix Empire, there was only one demon bird of the Nine Heavens with a longevity of level 6 while Emperor Phoenix was the only one with a longevity of level 5. As for level 4 of longevity, there were two of them. Wang Xian did not place such strength in his eyes, even if the Nine Heavens demonic bird possessed combat strength comparable to that of the dragon race. If it was two dragons of the same level, he might be a little apprehensive. If it was just one of them, he could kill them. As Wang Xian spoke, he waved his arm gently and the 5 elements millstone, which had been upgraded to a semi-divine weapon, appeared directly in the sky. All the soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, get ready. If you dare to destroy us, you must be prepared to be destroyed. At the Dragon Phoenix Empire, Feng Yuan shouted coldly. Kill. Anyone who offends our Dragon Phoenix Empire must be killed. Kill. So what if we have 2 empires? Ah. Excited voices came out from the mouths of the soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. They raised the weapons in their hands and roared at the 2 empires with murderous intent. Disciples of the 9-God Empire, get ready, Kiki. When Mo Sha saw Wang Xian getting ready for battle, his face revealed a sinister expression. The demonic aura on his body began to churn as he roared loudly. Dragon King, you are courting death. Palipala. When the 9 Heavens demonic bird saw that they were about to make a move, a special sound rang out from his body. A terrifying killing intent shot out from his eyes. If the 10,000 Demons Empire is really afraid of you, all the disciples of the 10,000 Demons Empire will be slaughtered today. The 9 Heavens demonic bird emperor roared loudly as he flapped his wings violently. The energy of wood and fire attributes made the shadows that gathered in the sky more corporeal. I, the 9 Heavens demonic bird, am a mutated species of the heaven and earth. Today I will kill a reckless human like you. He stared at Wang Xian and flapped his wings. He charged directly at Wang Xian. Haha, kill him for me. I will not rest until one of you is dead. Feng Yuan, I, Feng Chaodan, will destroy you again today. A ferocious look appeared on Emperor Feng's face as he stared at Feng Yuan with his blood-red eyes. Haha, that's more like it. Since we are here, we must determine the victor and determine the life and death. When Wang Xian saw the demonic bird of the 9 Heavens attacking him, his body trembled and a 7-colored dragon domain expanded in the surroundings. 7 divine dragon silhouettes were encircling the gigantic dragon domain. The dragon domain covered a terrifying area of 1,200 kilometers and covered half of the imperial capital. Demonic bird of the 9 Heavens, Emperor Phoenix, and the 2 of you, come in. Wang Xian was floating in the middle of the dragon field. 7 divine dragons surrounded him as he waved his arm. The divine dragons swayed their huge bodies and headed straight for Emperor Phoenix and the other 2 level 4 longevity experts of the 10,000 Demons Empire. Haha, you arrogant thing. You actually dare to divert your attention to deal with the rest when you are fighting me? When the demon bird of the 9 Heavens saw that Wang Xian wanted to tie down Emperor Phoenix and the rest, it laughed maniacally as a look of disdain appeared in its eyes. He flapped his pair of huge wings. One was wooden while the other was fiery red. Boom. 9 Heavens demonic domain. A domain that covered an area of about 1,000 kilometers appeared. The huge domain was like a pair of wings. When this domain appeared, it immediately collided violently with the dragon domain. Shatter, haha. The 9 Heavens demonic bird king let out a maniacal laugh. Wood made fire and the domain instantly lit up. Terrifying flames filled an area of over 1,000 kilometers. Wang. Within the Dragon Phoenix imperial capital, an array rose up, covering all the people and those who came to watch the ceremony. As an expert who was once close to God, the array he set up was completely capable of withstanding the attacks of a level 6 Wansho expert. That Dragon King was a little careless. The 9 Heavens demonic bird monarch is a heaven and earth species, an existence comparable to the dragon race. The Dragon King actually thought of stopping the other experts. Among those of the same level, it is already considered pretty good that he could deal with the Emperor of the 9 Heavens demonic bird. In the formation of the imperial capital, everyone took a deep breath when they saw the complete outbreak of the war. They were discussing in shock. He wants to break through the 7-colored dragon territory. Wang Xian's face revealed a hint of coldness. The energy of the yin and yang 5 elements in the dragon territory began to circulate. The terrifying defense of the yin-yang tai chi and the destructive power of the 5 elements caused the flames in the 9 Heavens demon territory to dissipate slowly. What? Sensing that its territory was completely suppressed, the 9 Heavens demon bird trembled slightly. An incredulous expression appeared on its face. Roar. However, Wang Xian did not bother with the shocked 9 Heavens demon bird at this moment. The 5 elements millstone spun and attacked Emperor Phoenix and the 2 level 4 longevity experts. The three of them who had yet to make a move, saw the five elements millstone, which was filled with a destructive aura, attacking them. Their faces revealed an extremely embarrassed expression. How is this possible? When we were fighting against the Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird, he was still able to pin us down. Emperor Phoenix roared in horror. Pin us down? He is trying to kill all of you. When Wang Xian heard Emperor Phoenix's words, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The five elements millstone and the five divine dragons began to roar. They pulled the five elements grindstone, which covered an area of more than 100 kilometers, and launched their attacks one after another. The entire grindstone was like the invincible spaceship of aliens in sci-fi movies. Chirp chirp chirp. I am the Nine Heavens demonic bird. Among those of the same level, no one is my match. A rapid and fierce cry came out from the mouth of the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor. He raised his head and the aura on his body rose rapidly. His entire body size rose rapidly, reaching several thousand meters in size. Chapter 1747. 1747 in the suffocating Dragon King of 1747. Chirp chirp chirp. His body was 2,000 to 3,000 meters long. The wood and fire on his body were superimposed together, emitting a strange flame. The wrath of the Demon King. Dragon King, welcome my wrath. The Demon Bird King of the Nine Heavens stared at Wang Xian coldly. The feathers on his body were trembling. Numerous wooden feathers that looked like they had been ignited covered an area of dozens of kilometers. They attacked Wang Xian directly. How arrogant! Roar! Wang Xian stared at the terrifying flaming feathers in front of him. His entire body transformed into the body of a divine dragon. A dragon body of 2,000 meters appeared in the sky. Roar! He raised his dragon head and roared once again. A grayish destructive power of the five elements swept towards the green and red flaming feathers. Bust! The destructive power of the five elements was like a long river of history. The green and red flaming feathers were completely wiped out. Furthermore, this destructive power was directed towards the Nine Heavens demonic bird. Damn it! When the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor saw that his attack was blocked, he widened his eyes and roared furiously. He flapped his wings and the wings formed from the two attributes collided with the destructive power to block Wang Xian's attack. Dragon Kingdom in the palm. However, at this moment, an extremely terrifying dragon claw was heading towards him. The dragon claw was like a kingdom, tens of thousands of meters in size. The Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird, who was below the dragon claw, was like an ant. What? The expression of the Nine Heavens demonic bird changed slightly when he saw the gigantic dragon claw. He flapped his gigantic wings and flew towards the side. Thorns stabbed at the dragon's claws. Hiss. Watching the Dragon King and the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor fight in the sky, everyone was shocked. This Dragon King is too terrifying. He completely suppressed the Nine Heavens demonic bird. Moreover, his terrifying weapon restrained the Phoenix Emperor and the 10,000 Demon Empire's two level 4 Demon Emperors. What a terrifying Dragon King. The Nine Heavens demonic bird is comparable to the dragon race in terms of strength. Its gigantic claws seem to be able to tear the void apart. Shocked voices came from everyone's mouths. Everyone raised their heads and watched the battle between the Nine Heavens demonic bird and the Dragon King. Kill kill kill. Boss is mighty. With boss holding off 4 top-tier experts, the rest are all trash. At this moment, Mo Sha led the experts from the Nine God Empire and charged towards the direction of the 10,000 Monster Empire at a height of 50,000 meters. Upon seeing Wang Xian's terrifying strength, Mo Sha's face was filled with excitement. Now all the experts from the 10,000 Monster Empire who were of the same level as him and stronger than him were blocked by Wang Xian. As for the rest, he could slaughter them without restraint. Mo Sha waved his arm, and his entire arm turned into a dark dragon head. He charged towards the direction of the 10,000 Fey Empire with all his might. The black dragon's head rapidly enlarged, reaching a radius of dozens of kilometers. Roar roar dodge dodge. All the demonic beasts and fierce beasts of the 10,000 Fey Empire saw this attack and shouted in panic. None of the demonic beasts and fierce beasts could withstand the full force attack of a Wansho 4th rank expert. However, the range of Mo Sha's attack was too large. In a range of dozens of kilometers, 20 to 30,000 demonic beasts were instantly struck by the dark dragon's head. The violent and corrosive dark energy immediately caused them to perish. Kiki, I can lead the 9-god empire to wipe out all the beasts of the 10,000 Fey Empire. When Mo Sha saw this scene, he revealed an excited expression as he roared loudly. Chirp chirp. All disciples of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, destroy the Phoenix Dynasty. Kill. In the Dragon Phoenix Empire, Feng Yuan let out a phoenix cry as her entire body directly transformed into a phoenix that was burning with blazing flames. She raised her arrogant head and her gaze was filled with ice cold as she stared at everyone from the Phoenix Dynasty. Ice-cold killing intent enveloped everyone from the Phoenix Dynasty from her body. Hee, it's finally time for us to show our skills. Guan Shuqing and the other girls smiled, their eyes full of fighting spirit. The 9 girls jumped, and a terrifying aura that was not weaker than the first rank of the longevity realm burst out from their bodies. Little Blue. Lan Qingyue called out softly, and a huge black hole appeared in the sky. A creature that was 20,000 meters long came out from the hole like a giant beast of destruction. Disciples of the Dragon Palace, kill. At the Dragon Palace, Prime Minister Gue roared and gave the order. Roar, roar, roar. The 9 flood dragons roared. The demon monkeys and thunder shrimps, who were engaged in close combat, rode on the fire phoenix dragon seed and charged at the demon beasts of the 10,000 demon empire. Then the Yuxia clan, the Starwood dragon seed, and the Firehammer clan of the Dragon Guard division followed. The Heavenly Eye Arrow division and the Dolphins were at the rear. The sound of arrows piercing through the air rang out, and a rhythm enveloped the sky. The entire sky trembled under the battle. The Dragon Palace didn't include Xiaolan. They had a total of 23 Rank 1 Longevity Realm members who could fight against Rank 2 Longevity Realm. The 7 members of the Phoenix and Dragon Empire, along with the 9 girls and Xiaolan, had 17 Longevity Realm experts. The 9-god Empire, Mo Sha, and his 6 subordinates had 7 longevity level and above combat strength. That was a total of 47. On the other hand, the 26 people from the 10,000 Fey Empire, along with the 18 people from the Phoenix Dynasty, made a total of 44. Most importantly, the Dragon King single-handedly held back the Phoenix Emperor and the 2 top-notch experts from the 10,000 Fey Empire, both of whom were at the 4th level of longevity and the 9 heavens demonic bird. Below Wang Xian and the rest, Feng Yuan and Mo Sha were invincible in the battlefield. Oh no, our Empress Feng is actually being held back by the Dragon King. The Empress has the strength of a rank 4 longevity expert. Without the presence of Empress Feng, we are no match for her at all. At the Phoenix Empire, the expressions of the 17 longevity Phoenix Empire's longevity experts changed drastically when they saw Feng Yuan attacking them. I once brought all of you to stand at the peak of the Transcendence Continent. Today I will personally knock all of you down to the mortal world. Feng Yuan's phoenix eyes were filled with flames of anger as she stared at the 17 longevity experts of the Phoenix Dynasty. Emperor Feng, save us. Sacred Flame Ancestor's brows jumped when he saw the Empress flying over filled with killing intent. They understood the Empress's personality very well. They would definitely not let a traitor off. With their strength, there was no way they could fight against the Empress. Get lost. Fire Phoenix Domain. At this moment, Emperor Phoenix was extremely furious. He was a dignified level 5 longevity expert, the Emperor Phoenix of the Phoenix Dynasty, but he was actually restrained by a weapon. The enormous 5 elements millstone attacked one after another, causing him to be flustered. Hearing the cries for help from below, Emperor Phoenix let out a furious roar. He activated his domain and countless fire phoenixes flew towards the 5 elements millstone. Roar roar. The fire divine dragon let out a roar as it opened its huge mouth and swallowed the fire phoenixes. No, how is this possible? When he saw that the fire phoenix domain was completely ineffective, he widened his blood-red eyes and roared in disbelief. He was actually completely suppressed by a weapon. Chapter 1748. 1748 The suffocating Dragon King descended. Roar. Crackle. So. Buzz. Kill. The battle of the longevity experts had already erupted. At the bottom of the continent, the members of the Dragon Palace, the experts of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and the experts of the Nine God Empire had also clashed with the armies of the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty. In just a split second, a terrifying sea of blood was raised. Not good. That strange sound came from the direction of the Dragon Palace. I feel that my strength has been suppressed. Oh no, the soldiers below the Void Interpretation Realm can't even use 10% of their strength in this battle. Quick, stop that dolphin creature and stop that woman. The blood that collided with the sea of blood instantly came from the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty. The terrifying sound waves were the most terrifying part of the battle. The Dolphin clan had a total of 1,000 warriors. The lowest level among them had reached the 3rd level of the Void Interpretation Realm, and there were quite a number of them at the 9th level and 8th level of the Void Interpretation Realm. When they gathered together to emit a special auxiliary sound wave, a terrifying scene appeared. 600,000 to 700,000 soldiers from the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty had come this time. Apart from 80,000 or so Insightful Emptiness Realm experts, the rest were all below the Insightful Emptiness Realm and in the Extraordinaire Realm. Under the sound waves of 1,000 Dolphin warriors, the strength of the Extraordinaire experts had been completely suppressed to a terrifying level. In fact, they were only able to display 1/10 of their strength. In the entire battlefield, they were nothing more than cannon fodder. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Other than the terrifying sound waves, there were also sharp arrows. The 1,500 demon beasts with slender arms could shoot up to 40,000 to 50,000 arrows per second. To the horror of the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty, a round of arrows directly killed over 10,000 of them. This was secondary. What scared them the most was that the arrows were poisonous and the poison could instantly kill a longevity expert. Long-range attack, destroy them. Destroy them. Shadow Demon Emperor, lead your shadow demons and charge. Phoenix Empire's archers, attack the rear and kill them. The Phoenix Empire's soldiers and the 10,000 Fey Empire's demon kings roared crazily when they saw how terrifying the Dragon Palace's long-range attacks were. They want to attack us. Bachi's face revealed a trace of coldness when he saw the overwhelming terrifying energy and the attacks of the 3 longevity experts. I'll lock down the Shadow Monster Emperor. Leave the archers of the Phoenix Dynasty to me. Muzasan and Bachi stood there arrogantly and said, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Dragon Snake Encirclement. Arrows shot towards the Shadow Demon Emperor, while Bachi's domain enveloped the Sky Eye Arrow Division, the Dolphin Clan and the Poison-Making Warriors. In Bachi's domain, dragons and snakes surged, while dragons and snakes encircled. The tens of thousands of energy attacks landed on the domain, but they were blocked outside. This is too brutal. This is too brutal. Almost 100,000 people died in the collision in less than a minute. The members of the Dragon Palace are so terrifying. The Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Monster Empire suffered great losses in the collision just now. The archers of the Dragon Palace are too powerful. The weird sound waves seem to have caused a great disturbance to the soldiers of the 10,000 Monster Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty. The war has only just begun. The 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Empire have already made their response. They will be able to restrain the long-range attackers from the Dragon Palace. It's hard to say who will be the victor, but the Dragon King's strength is simply suffocating. He single-handedly restrained all the top-tier experts on the other side. Inside the array formation of the Imperial capital, everyone's faces were filled with shock when they saw the devastating scene. This was a true war. Even if the sky and earth changed color, it would be very difficult for an Insightful Emptiness Realm expert to keep his life here. The various powers that were watching the ceremony spoke in shock. As for the citizens of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire, there was even less to be said. A battle that affected over 1,000 kilometers? This was something that none of them dared to even think about before. However, when they saw that they had the upper hand, their nervous hearts let out a slight sigh of relief. Strange Demon Clan, kill those annoying long-range attackers. Powerful attacks came one after another, and Bachi revealed an unhappy expression. The long-range attacks of the Sky Eye Arrow Division were very terrifying. One round of attacks could cause a terrifying destructive force. Once they were restricted, it would make the following battles very troublesome. The Phoenix Dynasty also had a powerful archer troop, and they also had powerful strength. They had killed many members of the Dragon Palace in the attack just now. The 10,000 Fey Empire had poison stinger demon beasts, and they could shoot out deadly toxins. They were also a terrifying race of the 10,000 Fey Empire. Ah, not good, there are killers, there are killers. Roar, there are killers entering the poison stinger demon beasts. Not long after Ba Qi's words were spoken, the Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire heard terrified voices. Following that, continuous screams sounded out. In the entire Dragon Palace, the Dragon Spike Division was the most powerful. There were 1,500 soldiers, and among them, there were 500 strange demons who had the combat strength of a level 6 void interpretation. Back in Fengtian City, 500 strange demons could assassinate millions of people in one night. On this battlefield they were still like fish in water. 1,500 strange demons were harvesting the long-range attackers of the two empires at a terrifying speed. The archers of the Phoenix Dynasty in particular had weak defenses. Under the sickle of the strange demon's death, all of them widened their eyes. Aspect, space of light. Just as some of the archers and stinger demon beasts reacted, a cold voice resounded in everyone's mind. Following that, more than 20,000 archers from the Phoenix Dynasty and more than 30,000 stinger demon beasts from the 10,000 Fey Empire were completely enveloped by the strange demon's Dharma idol. Awe. In an instant, the sounds of screams were incessant. Wong. The screams did not last for 20 seconds before the entire bright space completely dissipated. When the space was restored, only the corpses remained. Some of the strange demons' corpses were mixed in. Hiss. However, when the Phoenix Dynasty and the rest of the soldiers of the 10,000 Fey Empire saw this scene, they took a deep breath, their faces filled with fear. There were at most 100 to 200 enemies' corpses, but their archers and the stinger demon beasts had all been assassinated. When they thought of the terrifying killers hiding around them who could launch fatal attacks at them at any time, their faces were filled with fear. Pooh no. At this moment, a miserable scream was heard from more than 100,000 meters in the sky. Following that, a body that was several hundred meters in size fell to the ground. It's the Unicorn Demon Emperor. Oh my god, the Unicorn Demon Emperor who has reached the 4th level of longevity has actually fallen. It's the Dragon King who killed him. The Dragon King is so terrifying. Chapter 1749. 1749 hundredly of dragon body covered the sky and covered the sun. Hiss, this, what a powerful Dragon King. Just with that big mill, he was able to kill the single rhinoceros demon emperor of the Wansho 4th rank. A Wansho expert has fallen, and it's a top-tier Wansho 4th rank expert. When the single rhinoceros demon emperor's corpse fell from a height of 100,000 meters, everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. All the experts and soldiers of the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty were shocked when they saw the corpse. They raised their heads and looked into the sky. Over 100,000 meters in the sky, the Dragon King, who was so powerful that it was suffocating, was fighting with the 9 Heavens Demon Bird Emperor Lord. The 5 Elements Millstone, which was dozens of kilometers in size, was sealing off the Phoenix Emperor and the other longevity 4th rank Demon Emperor, the Myriad Flower Bone Demon. Under such circumstances, the Dragon King was still completely suppressing the 9 Heavens Demon Bird. The world-destroying energy was like the end of the world. Even if they were fighting at a height of 100,000 meters, the terrifying power still made the experts dare not fly into the sky. Diwen, you are the Emperor's teacher of the Phoenix Dynasty. I single-handedly raised your strength to rank 3 longevity. You are above the tens of thousands of people in the Imperial Court. Today I will betray you and die. Sacred Flame, you are the founding general of the Phoenix Dynasty. You almost died many times during the battles. Later you were saved by the personal guards of Huiyun. You are an ungrateful person. I will betray you and die. Just as one of the demon emperors of the 10,000 Fey Empire fell, a clear and cold voice resounded in the sky. Sentence after sentence came out of Feng Yuan's mouth. She transformed into a fire phoenix, and Feng Yun, Lan Qingyue, Guan Shuqing and the other girls as well as Feng Lingtian and the other 4 longevity experts followed behind her. Her body was filled with endless anger and dignity. After losing her body for more than 1,800 years, she could finally take revenge today. You traitors, accept my punishment. Chirp chirp. With the cry of a fire phoenix, Feng Yuan flapped her wings and charged forward with terrifying flames of judgment. Ichimpish, go to hell. The group of girls followed behind and charged forward. An ancient zither floated in front of Tang Yinxian, and a powerful melody charged towards the longevity experts of the Phoenix dynasty. What should we do? The longevity experts of the Phoenix dynasty saw Feng Yuan charging over, and their eyes were filled with panic. With the Empress's strength, they were completely no match for her. Phoenix Nirvana Fire, Domain Open. Without waiting for them to react, a powerful domain directly enveloped them. D1, I'll kill you first. The Phoenix wings flapped, and numerous fire phoenixes directly condensed and attacked the Emperor Master from all directions. No, Empress, I was wrong. I D1 admit my guilt. Seeing the Empress taking the lead to attack him, fear appeared on the Emperor Master's face. Feeling the powerful power, his expression changed drastically. He wanted to teleport away, but the terrifying power sealed the surrounding space. A level 3 Wansho against a level 4 Wansho was on a completely different level. Don't even think about escaping. Little Blue. The expressions of the other 10 or so experts of the Phoenix dynasty changed drastically. A few of them even wanted to retreat, but at this moment Little Blue, who was like a space beast, blocked their path of retreat. Ah, Empress, don't kill me, don't kill me. The terrified screams suddenly attracted the attention of all the experts of the Phoenix dynasty. When they looked over, the fire phoenixes kept hitting the Emperor's master's corpse. His domain had already collapsed. What awaited him next was death. It was the Empress's anger and the Empress's judgment. Empress Feng, save me. The 10 or so longevity experts of the Phoenix dynasty shouted in fear. Ever since the great Empress died, the Phoenix dynasty's strength had decreased instead of increasing. Their strength had not increased at all during the past 2 years. In the entire Phoenix dynasty, there was only one Emperor's Master at the 3rd rank of longevity. The rest were at the 2nd and 1st rank of longevity. Once the Emperor's Master died, they were no match for him. It was only a matter of time before he died. This caused the more than 10 longevity experts of the Phoenix dynasty to be filled with fear as they cried out to Emperor Feng in the sky for help. Emperor Lord, save us. We are not a match for the 9-god Emperor Lord. The cries of the longevity experts of the Phoenix Empire sounded out. Suddenly, the cries of the demon emperors came from the 10,000 Fey Empire as well. I'll save you all. You bunch of beasts, die. That long-haired beast in the sky will also be killed by our boss. Emo Shah roared with excitement. He wreaked havoc in the center of hundreds of thousands of demon beasts in the 10,000 Demon Empire, killing thousands of demon beasts with each strike. Moreover, for Wansho experts had already died at Emo Shah's hands. Roar, 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 eat my rod. Thunder hammer, quake. Heaven forging hammer, strike the sky. Ao Qitian, who was holding the ocean-pacifying divine needle, was in the surroundings. Ao Qi, who was covered in lightning, and Duan Jinming, who was holding the flaming hammer. Their terrifying strength was fighting with the demon emperor of the 10,000 Fey Empire, who was at the 2nd level of longevity. Below them, the violent demon monkeys, thunder prawns, and fire hammers were riding on the fire phoenix dragon seed and fighting with the demon beasts and fierce beasts of the 10,000 Fey Empire. With their powerful strength and the help of the dolphins, they were extremely brave. One by one, the demon beasts and fierce beasts fell to the ground. At this time, the strange demon had killed the main force of the long-range attacks of the 2 empires, and the life-reaping arrows once again entered the battlefield. The arrows with poison were reaping lives at a terrifying speed. The corpses below had already covered the ground. Dragon King, today I will fight you to the death. Phoenix Nirvana Fire, burn. Over 100,000 meters in the sky, Emperor Phoenix's gaze swept across the area below. He saw that half of the experts and soldiers of the Phoenix dynasty had been lost, and his eyes were blood-red. His body was burning with blood-red flames. Burning the Nirvana fire in his body, he exploded with even more powerful strength. His body began to transform, slowly turning into a fire phoenix with a ferocious human face. His body was 100 meters wide and his wings were 200 meters wide. He flapped his wings of fire and directly crashed into the great mill of 5 elements. Boom! A powerful collision force caused the great mill of 5 elements to fly backward. Kill him. Chirp chirp, wood fire burns and life goes on endlessly. The karmic fire cannot be stopped. Burn bone fire forest. The master of the demonic bird of the 9 heavens looked at Emperor Phoenix who was charging towards him. He looked at his wings that were covered in blood and his eyes revealed a brutal and ruthless look. He raised his head and roared loudly. A huge forest that was emitting flames appeared in the sky. The forest blocked the sky for a few hundred kilometers. Endless fire trees were hurled towards Wang Xian. Are they all erupting? Good. Roar. 10,000-mile-long dragon body. Dragon head under the heavens. Divine dragon swishing its tail. Yin Yang 5 elements Am's bowl. 7-colored dragon territories blessing. When Wang Xian saw the demon bird emperor of the 9 heavens erupting completely and the phoenix emperor who was burning with the phoenix nirvana fire, he let out a loud roar. His eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. All the Dharma images were cast directly. The power of the 7-colored dragon territory was all blessed on his body. 100-mile dragon body, covering the sky and the sun, appeared in the sky. Chapter 1750. 1750 The 1,750-mile-long body of a dragon blotted out the sky and the sun. Roar. A dragon's roar of a divine dragon. When Wang Xian unleashed all his strength, when all his Dharma forms and powers were unleashed, Wang Xian's entire body had reached a terrifying 100 miles. It was an entire 100 miles in size. When his 100-mile-long body was suspended in the sky, the 9 heavens demonic bird and emperor phoenix were instantly stunned. What was the concept of a 100-mile-long dragon body? A 50,000-meter-long body was comparable to half the size of some cities. In front of him, a person was like a tiny ant. Even the 9 heavens demonic bird and emperor phoenix, which were thousands of meters and hundreds of meters long, were like ants in front of a 100-mile-long dragon body. Wang Xian's ice-cold dragon eyes stared at the 9 heavens demonic bird emperor and emperor phoenix. His face was filled with indifference. He raised his dragon claw and attacked the 9 heavens demonic bird directly. The 9 heavens demonic bird emperor inhaled a breath of cold air. He flapped his wings and flew directly to the side. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, Wang Xian's dragon tail swept toward the ancient fire forest that was condensed by the 9 heavens demonic bird emperor. The ancient fire forest that was hundreds of kilometers long was like a larger flame in front of Wang Xian. As the dragon tail swept past, a quarter of it disappeared immediately. Roar. Wang Xian opened his gigantic dragon mouth. A long river filled with destructive energy swept toward the 9 heavens demonic bird. This roar spread across more than half of the vast area. The dragon's roar resounded through the sky and the earth. What kind of creature are you? How can you have such a huge body? How is this possible? The 9 heavens demonic bird monarch looked at this terrifying creature that blotted out the sky and the sun. A hint of fear appeared in his eyes. Although being huge did not mean that he was powerful, his body was at least 100 miles long. It was already difficult for him to be injured by ordinary attacks. As a heaven and earth mutated demonic beast from the extraordinary mainland, this was the first time the king of the 9 heavens demonic bird had encountered such a terrifying opponent of the same level. One had to know that he was not afraid of even dragons of the same level. Now that he was facing Wang Xian, he was actually being suppressed in all directions. Myriad wood shuttle. Looking at the long river of annihilation, the king of the 9 heavens demonic bird flapped his huge wings. The green wings flew out of the dense thorns and headed towards the long river of annihilation. Not good. However, when the long river of annihilation landed on the thorns, countless thorns withered immediately. The long river of annihilation continued to sweep towards him. The 9 heavens demonic bird emperor lord didn't doubt that if he was hit, he would definitely be heavily injured. He flapped his wings and hurriedly fled to the side. Ping! At this moment, a terrifying dragon claw attacked him. The enormous claw was even larger than his body. When the 9 heavens demonic bird emperor lord saw the dragon claw that suddenly attacked him, his expression changed. Ping! However, the huge force landed on his body, causing his body to fall down at a terrifying speed. Ah! A painful sound came from his mouth. He spat out blood and his body collapsed. His face was filled with shock. At the side, Emperor Feng was stunned when he saw the terrifying attack in his huge body. He was burning the Phoenix Nirvana fire, but he was only able to unleash the strength of the peak of level 5 longevity. He was far weaker than the Emperor of the 9 heavens demonic bird. Now, even the Emperor of the 9 heavens demonic bird was sent flying backward. How was he supposed to fight back? A hint of fear appeared in Emperor Phoenix's eyes. Boom, boom. However, at this moment he felt the sky turn dark. That gigantic dragon claw was heading towards him. Oh no, the Phoenix Nirvana fire has exploded. He roared loudly. With a flap of his phoenix wings, countless flames covered Wang Xian. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions that sounded like nuclear bombs rang out continuously. The entire sky was instantly covered by incomparably terrifying flames. Boom. However, at this moment, a scene that terrified Emperor Feng appeared. In the sky that was completely covered by flames, an incomparably gigantic dragon claw extended out. The dragon claw flickered with 7-colored divine light. The yin-yang 5 elements Om's bowl completely blocked the attack of the flames. Ping! The dragon claw landed on Emperor Phoenix's body. He was like a fly as he fell downwards. Oh my god, a body at least 100 miles long. Is this the Dragon King? How can he be so terrifying? Hiss, 100 miles long dragon body blotted out the sky. The 9 heavens demonic bird and Emperor Phoenix have been hit and are falling downwards. Emperor 9 heavens demonic bird has been severely injured. Emperor Phoenix will probably lose half of his life under this attack. At this moment, in the array formation of the imperial capital, everyone looked at the enormous body in the sky in shock. It was the first time they had seen such a huge creature. How is this possible? On the battlefield, the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty looked at Emperor 9 Heaven's demonic bird and Emperor Phoenix who were falling to the ground. Their faces were filled with fear and despair. When the longevity experts were screaming for help, the soldiers of the two empires were on the verge of collapse. Now, looking at the rapidly falling Emperor Lord and the terrifying creature with a dragon's head sticking out from the flames in the sky, everyone's hearts were filled with trepidation and reverence. Was this a god? Boom. Boom. The 9 heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord's body landed heavily on the ground, leaving a deep pit that was hundreds of meters deep. Soon after, Emperor Phoenix's body also landed on the ground. If it was not enough, he would be in a worse situation. After landing on the ground, one of his wings was actually broken into 2 pieces. One could imagine how terrifying this power was. The 2 Emperor Lords were directly hit to the ground and everyone in the world was stunned. In the sky that was 100,000 meters high, the 10,000 flower bone demon emperor floated in the sky with a dazed expression. He looked at the Dragon King who was slowly stretching out his gigantic body and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Buzz. At this moment, the 5 elements millstone revolved and attacked the demon emperor of the myriad flower bone with all its might. No! The demon emperor of the myriad flower bone was overwhelmed with shock. He hurriedly turned around and fled into the distance. However, under the control of Wang Xian, the 5 elements millstone and the gigantic semi-divine weapon revolved and collided directly into his body. The destructive force wiped out his body and life force, causing his 2,000-meter-long body to tremble violently. In less than 2 seconds all his life force disappeared and he fell downwards. Bang! Another loud sound was heard as though it had crashed into the hearts of everyone from the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Empire. Apart from the sounds of battle, the entire battlefield was silent. Roar! The Empire of 10,000 Demons and the Phoenix Empire. From today onwards, all of you will be retiring from the stage of the Transcendence Continent. Wang Xian's gigantic body slowly extended downwards. Looking at this gigantic dragon body, the battle stopped. Everyone from the Phoenix Empire and the Empire of 10,000 Demons gathered together in fear. They stared at Wang Xian in the sky vigilantly. Cough 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 cough. 2 coughs came from the deep pit on the ground. The Emperor of the 9 Heavens demonic bird swayed his body and stood up miserably. He stared at the gigantic dragon head in the sky. How can you be so strong? Chapter 1751. 1751 Emperor Slayer was at the peak. How are you so strong? At the bottom of the battlefield, there was a deep pit that was a few hundred meters deep and within a range of 3,000 to 4,000 meters. The Emperor of the 9 Heavens demonic bird spread his huge wings and his face was filled with blood. One of his wings was completely deformed and his body was slightly dented. Some of his feathers had already fallen to the ground. The king of demonic birds of the 9 Heavens, who was in an extremely sorry state, raised his head. His voice was filled with unwillingness and disbelief as he stared at Wang Xian. At this moment, everyone raised their heads and looked at the terrifying dragon head. Just a single dragon head was already 4 to 5,000 meters in size. He looked down like a mythical beast looking down at the entire land. You are too weak. Wang Xian's cold dragon eyes stared at the Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird. His gaze swept across all the soldiers and demonic beasts of the Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Demon Empire. Today all of you shall be buried here. Boom, boom. Following that, Wang Xian stretched out his dragon claws and clawed at the Nine Heavens demonic bird. His incomparably huge dragon claws seemed to be able to crush a planet. I am a mutated species of heaven and earth. How can I die at the hands of someone of the same level? In the extraordinary mainland, I, the Nine Heavens demonic bird, am not afraid even if it is a powerhouse of the dragon race. Upon seeing the dragon claw that was coming at him, the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor let out a roar. It was incomparably huge. Around him, terrifying thorns covered the surroundings. In just a short instant, a radius of a few hundred miles was completely covered by thorns. All the soldiers and demonic beasts in the surroundings hurriedly hid into the distance. The branches from the Nine Heavens are burning the Phoenix Nirvana fire of the Nine Heavens. Burn the heavens for me. The Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird stared at Wang Xian in the sky with blood-red eyes. The thorns within a radius of 100 kilometers were burning with flames as they soared into the sky. Every single vine was like a gigantic fire snake. Hiss. Upon seeing this scene and seeing this move, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces revealed a look of shock. As expected of the Emperor of the Nine Heavens demonic bird. The Nine Heavens demonic bird that is going all out is simply too terrifying. After all, he's the Emperor Lord of the 10,000 Fey Empire, a top-notch existence in our transcendent continent. Everyone in the surroundings watched this scene with faces full of shock. Even Feng Yuan stared at the Nine Heavens demonic bird with incomparable solemnity. Even when she was at her peak, she wasn't as strong as the current Nine Heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord. Especially after he used some method to obtain the Fire Phoenix bloodline. Kill him. Otherwise we are finished. Everyone from the Empire of 10,000 Demons and the Phoenix Empire stared at the final attack of the Emperor of the Nine Heavens. Their faces were filled with cold sweat. In just a short 10 minutes of battle, more than half of the soldiers from the Phoenix Empire and the Empire of 10,000 Demons had already perished. If the battle continued, they would all be left here. A dying struggle. Wang Xian looked at the sky full of thorns attacking him with flames. He waved his dragon claw gently. Buzz. In the sky, the 5 elements grinding mill flew directly below him. Yin-yang Tai Chi. 5 elements grinding mill. He shouted softly. A yin-yang Tai Chi pattern appeared below the 5 elements grinding mill. The yin-yang Tai Chi was activated. Countless fire thorns landed on it, and more than half of their strength was absorbed by it. When it landed on the 5 elements grinding mill, it was easily blocked. Today I announce that the Nine Heavens demonic bird has suffered a loss. Wang Xian's cold dragon eyes stared at the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor. His dragon claws contained the powerful yin-yang and 5 elements powers as well as the physical strength of his body. He continued to probe downwards. Chirp, I am not reconciled. The Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor's blood-red eyes stared at the dragon claws that were attacking him. Fresh blood flowed out from his eyes. He was filled with anger and unwillingness. Boom. However, 5 huge dragon claws clawed at the Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor lord, causing the earth to shake. This? Nine Heavens demonic bird emperor lord, is he going to die? Heavens, just a single dragon claw is already several thousand meters wide. It can't be, an emperor lord is really going to die here. A shocked voice sounded and everyone's eyes widened as they stared at the center. The members of the forces who came to watch the ceremony never expected that such a shocking event would happen today. Buzz. Wang Xian's dragon eyes of yin-yang and 5 elements stared at the center. A faint smile appeared on his face. His body moved and transformed into a human form. Whoosh. At this moment, a figure was fleeing into the distance at a rapid speed. Wang Xian looked over and saw that extremely pathetic figure. He laughed. In the beginning this figure was extremely arrogant. Bang? Emperor Feng, when you guys came, you didn't expect such an ending, right? The gigantic 5 elements millstone descended from the sky and landed heavily in front of Emperor Feng who was fleeing. Feng Chaodian, when you killed me, you didn't expect me to be resurrected, right? Feng Yuan quickly looked at the disheveled figure and slowly walked towards Wang Xian. She stared at Emperor Feng and asked coldly. Hee, I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. Emperor Feng turned his head around in a disheveled state. His crown was slanted and his dragon robe was torn. He clenched his fists and stared at Wang Xian with an unwilling expression. If it weren't for you, even if Feng Yuan was resurrected, I would be able to kill her again. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. He glared at Wang Xian with a ferocious and maniacal expression as he shouted out involuntarily. Go to the ground and accompany the 9 heavens demon bird. 2 overlord lords would be a good companion. Wang Xian spoke to Emperor Feng indifferently. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone was pulled by the 5 divine dragons. A destructive force was directed towards Emperor Feng. I won't die. I'm the overlord of the Phoenix Empire, one of the peak of the continent. Emperor Phoenix roared ferociously as he fled frantically into the distance. However, with his strength, it was impossible for him to escape from Wang Xian's attack. Bang! The gigantic 5 elements millstone crashed onto Emperor Phoenix's body, causing him to fall to the ground once again. This time his life force had completely disappeared. The smoke that rose from the 9 heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord had already disappeared, and there were corpses lying quietly inside. The Emperor of the 10,000 Fei Empire. The Emperor of the Phoenix Dynasty. 2 Emperor Lords were lying quietly on the ground, and they had fallen just like that. Go. Regardless of whether it was the forces that had come to watch the ceremony or everyone from the Dragon Phoenix Empire, they all swallowed a mouthful of saliva. These 2 were the emperors of the previous 5 empires on the continent. One of the 5 most powerful people had actually fallen at the hands of a new faction, the Dragon King. Such a scene was shocking. The Emperor of the Phoenix Dynasty and the Emperor of the 10,000 Demons Empire are dead. There's no need for the 2 empires to exist anymore. Just nice. The Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace will replace the 2 major factions. Hehe. At this moment Wang Xian's chuckle rang out. He raised his arms slowly and said, kill everyone from the 2 empires for this grand ceremony. This order caused despair to appear in the eyes of the hundreds of thousands of soldiers from the 10,000 Demons Empire and the Phoenix Empire. They looked at the figure in the middle with fear and shock. Beheading the Overlord, ascending to the peak. Chapter 1752. 1752 Transcendence Continent. Kill. Haha, they still came here to destroy us. Now let's die here. Brothers, kill them and destroy the 2 empires. When Wang Xian gave the order, the disciples of the Dragon Phoenix Empire, the 9 God Empire and the Dragon Palace took action instantly. They did not hesitate at all. Emperor Phoenix and the 9 heavens demonic bird Emperor Lord had already fallen. Their most powerful experts had already died. At this moment, what else could they use to fight against the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace? It was a situation of certain death. Run. We surrender, we admit defeat. Terrified voices came from the mouths of the members of the Phoenix Empire and the 10,000 Fei Empire. When they saw the experts who were charging over, their faces were filled with fear. Since the Overlord was dead, they only had 3 options: escape, die, and surrender. However, could they escape? The people from the 2 empires were in chaos. Some of them turned around and fled while others knelt in the air and shouted loudly for their surrender. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the fleeing experts. There was no trace of mercy on his face. He waved his arm and a river of destruction shot towards the fleeing powerhouses. With his strength of level 6 of longevity, no one could escape from his sight. Awe. Screams of agony rang out continuously. The once lofty longevity powerhouses who were at the peak of the void interpretation stage were now like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Kill? Feng Yuan and Mo Sha did not stop either. There were 600,000 to 700,000 experts from the 2 empires. Even though they had killed 300,000 to 400,000 of them in the battle just now, there was still a large number of them left. When Feng Yuan and Mo Sha and the rest had also charged through the battlefield, and when Wang Xian killed the Wanshou experts one by one, the 2 empires could be said to have completely collapsed. Every second, more than 1,000 members of the two empires died. Blood flowed like a river and the corpses piled up like a mountain. The bones of a 100-meter-long demon king and demon emperor were buried in this land. The 17 peak families of the Phoenix dynasty and the personal guards of Emperor Feng died one after another. The experts who had once served the empress were all killed by Feng Yuan with her own hands. Those who had been ungrateful, those who had betrayed the great empress, and those who had betrayed the great empress were all killed by Feng Yuan. Screams could be heard everywhere. Yes. I didn't expect that the founding ceremony of the Dragon Phoenix Empire would be the day of the destruction of the Phoenix dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace is so powerful. He killed more than half of the longevity experts by himself. This is too heaven-defying. After today, the entire Transcendence continent will probably be shocked. There's no longer the Phoenix dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire in the world. There's only the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace. Next, the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace will probably occupy the territories of the two empires. With the Nine-God Empire joining forces, even our Dragonman Empire will be afraid. Inside the array formation of the imperial capital, the factions that came to watch the ceremony sucked in a breath of cold air. In this battle, more than 40 longevity experts had fallen, around 80,000 insightful void experts had been killed, and 600,000 to 700,000 of the most elite disciples of the two empires had been annihilated. The destruction of the two empires. The battle was earth-shattering. They could imagine that after today the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace would replace the two empires and stand at the top of the extraordinary continent. Haha, they're too powerful. Our Dragon Phoenix Empire and Lord Wang are too powerful. We've killed all the elites of the two empires. We'll rise up after today. Ah! Long live the Empress. Long live the Dragon King. The people of the Dragon Phoenix Empire were extremely excited. They looked at the soldiers and members of the Dragon Palace who were slaughtering everyone with admiration. The slaughter lasted for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, none of the enemies survived. The ground was covered with corpses. The members of the Dragon Palace started to put the corpses into their interspatial rings while Prime Minister Gue collected the fallen disciples of the Dragon Palace with the soul-returning wood and resurrected them. Reporting to the Empress, 12,000 soldiers and 175 insightful Emptiness Realm experts of the Dragon Phoenix Empire have died in this battle. All the enemies were annihilated. The soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire began to report the results of the battle. Bury these 12,000 disciples and soldiers as heroes of the Empire. Our Empire will compensate their families the most. Feng Yuan frowned slightly and said straightforwardly. In a war, even if one won, there would be death. However, compared to the death of 600,000 to 700,000 enemies, the loss of only 10,000 was already very, very small. Dragon King, 123 disciples of the Dragon Palace have died. Prime Minister Gue also came over to report. Wang Xian nodded slowly. With the ancestral tree and the soul-returning wood, the disciples of the Dragon Palace could be revived. The loss of more than 100 people was completely acceptable. Compared to the enemies and gains that he had killed, it was completely negligible. Feng Yuan, we will head to the Phoenix Dynasty and the 10,000 Fey Empire immediately and take over the two empires. Wang Xian said to Feng Yuan who was beside him. All right. Feng Yuan nodded her head and her eyes were filled with excitement. The 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Empire could be said to be in the bag to destroy the elite powerhouses of the two empires this time. After subduing the two factions, the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace would be able to obtain a terrifying amount of resources. Furthermore, after nearly 2 years, she could finally rule the central continent as the Empress and the entire Transcendence continent once again. Prime Minister Gue, get the civil officials of the Dragon Palace and the Firehammer clan of the Dragon Guardian tribe to send all the corpses to the Dragon Palace. The rest of the members, follow me to the central continent. Wang Xian immediately ordered. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gue immediately replied. Firecloud guards, follow me to the Phoenix Empire. The rest of you, guard the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan also gave the order to everyone in the Dragon Phoenix Empire. It's the Empress. The soldiers of the Dragon Phoenix Empire immediately replied. Let's go. Let's go. Roar, roar, roar. 9 dragon roars and 9 flood dragons pulled the throne and roared. Wang Xian moved his body and sat on it. Sister Feng Yuan, let's get on Xiaolan. Lan Qingyue said to Feng Yuan. All right. Feng Yuan smiled and nodded. She wasn't as flashy as Wang Xian. 9 creatures with the combat strength of the second level of longevity pulled on the throne. In the entire Transcendence continent, there were only a few who had such strength. Let's go. Wang Xian sat on the throne. More than 10,000 experts from the Dragon Palace, more than 5,000 experts from the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and more than 10,000 experts from the 9 God Empire flew toward the central continent. The Transcendence continent is about to change. Some of the factions that came to observe the ceremony whispered. Let's go back as well. We must report this matter to the Emperor and the rest. The powerhouses from the Aoshan Empire and the Dragonman Empire looked at each other and immediately led their disciples back to the central continent. Chapter 1753. 1753 Transcendental Continent was shaking. The vast land was vast and vast, with green mountains rising and falling. The waves of the Transcendental Sea were several hundred meters wide, and the waves were magnificent. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, dragon roars resounded through the heaven and earth, and a powerful team stepped into the central area of the Transcendental Continent. 9,000-meter-long flood dragons pulled a throne, and magical warriors followed behind them. A 20,000-meter-long creature was accompanying them. A goddess-like beauty was standing on top of the giant beast, overlooking the land. We're back again. Feng Yuan looked at this familiar land and muttered. Feng Yuan, you guys go to the Phoenix Empire. I'll go to the 10,000 Fei Empire. Wang Xian looked at Feng Yuan and said directly to her. Alright, let Mo Sha bring you to the 10,000 Fei Empire. I'll handle the Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan nodded. Yes, Ao Jian Muzisan, bring your clansmen and follow Feng Yuan. Wang Xian nodded and instructed the Dragon Guards and the Heavenly Eye Arrow Division behind him. It's the Dragon King. Ao Jian and Muzisan nodded and came to Xiaolan. Let's go. The Phoenix Dynasty was located in the north of the central continent while the Dragon Phoenix Empire was located in the south of the central continent. The two empires were very far apart. The Flood Dragon flew at a height of tens of thousands of meters and flew rapidly towards the direction of the 10,000 Demons Empire. Meanwhile, Xiaolan led Feng Yuan and the rest to fly towards the Phoenix Dynasty. Although Xiaolan was carrying a group of people, their speed was much faster than Wang Xian's. What kind of giant beast is that? Oh my god, it's so huge. Hiss, what? What is this? What a huge body. When Xiaolan flew over some cities, she caught the attention of some people. When they saw the terrifying giant beast that was 20 kilometers in size, all of them were shocked. 5 hours later, the territory of the Phoenix Dynasty appeared in their line of sight. A city appeared in front of them. Empress, the Phoenix Dynasty is now completely under the control of the 17 great families. Every city has the remnants of the 17 great families. Feng Yun looked at the city below and said with a frown. After all, the Phoenix Dynasty was the territory that the Empress had conquered. However, ever since the fall of the Empress 1,800 years ago, the entire Phoenix Dynasty had been controlled by the 17 great families. Their disciples were planted in every city. They were arrogant and tyrannical, bullying men and women and lived like kings. The people of the entire Phoenix Dynasty were living in misery. Not a single disciple from the 17 families is left alive. Feng Yuan's eyes were filled with coldness as she said. Feng Yun slowly nodded. At this time he would rather kill 100 people than let one go. This was the sin committed by the 17 families. Now was the time for them to pay for it. Let's go to the imperial capital. Feng Yuan said indifferently. Xiaolan flew quickly. The land of the Phoenix Dynasty was vast. It took them more than 10 hours to arrive at the imperial capital of the Phoenix Dynasty. The imperial capital with a population of 40 million was extremely prosperous. What is that? What a huge creature. They are flying towards our imperial capital. What is that huge beast doing here? Oh my god. When Xiaolan approached the imperial capital of the Phoenix Dynasty, the experts in the imperial capital immediately discovered it. All the city guards and experts in the imperial capital immediately flew into the sky. Wang? A formation completely blocked the entire imperial capital. Who are you? Why did you barge into our Phoenix dynasty? One by one, the city guards and soldiers at the profound void tier flew into the sky and stared at Xiaolan in the sky with palpitations on their faces. Within the city, all the citizens of the Phoenix dynasty also looked at the gigantic beast in the sky with shock on their faces. Their expressions changed slightly. It's been more than 1,800 years. Has the entire city guard changed? Feng Yuan's footsteps were light as she walked down from Xiaolan's body. Feng Yun followed beside her. She strolled in the air above the center of the Phoenix dynasty's imperial capital. Her phoenix robe fluttered even though there was no wind. This figure? This is? The city guards of the imperial capital were slightly stunned. They looked at the familiar figure with a stunned expression. It's the Empress, it's the Empress. That familiar voice, that familiar figure. Oh my God, it's the Empress. Didn't the Empress die? At this moment, a shocked and unbelievable voice sounded from within the city. An old man shouted excitedly. What? The Empress? How is this possible? Empress, our Empress isn't. It's the Empress, it's the Empress. Look at that face, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Some people's faces were filled with shock, some widened their eyes, and some had ugly expressions. The entire imperial capital was instantly thrown into chaos. More than 2,000 years ago, Feng Yuan, established the Phoenix dynasty. 1,800 years ago, I was harmed by the crafty Feng Chaotan, and 17 founding ministers became the lackeys of the Phoenix dynasty. One day ago, I established the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Chaotian led all the experts of the Feng dynasty to besiege them. Now they have all been killed. Today Feng Yuan have returned. I sentenced those who are close to the Feng dynasty to be exterminated. Those from the 17 great families exterminated. Feng Yuan stood in the sky and announced the verdict indifferently. Her voice spread throughout the city and everyone's eyes widened in shock. The disciples of the 17 great families instantly broke out in cold sweat and became extremely pale. Remove the array formation. Feng Yuan looked at the array formation that enveloped the imperial city and said indifferently. No, impossible, the Empress is already dead. You are not the Empress, you are not. A city guard expert shouted in disbelief. He was a disciple of the 17 great families, and when he heard Feng Yuan's words, his face was filled with disbelief. Wang? Feng Yuan waved her arm and a staff, phoenix staff, appeared in her hand. She looked down and lightly waved it. A gigantic fire phoenix appeared in the sky and attacked the array formation below. Feng Yuan's attack directly passed through the array formation and landed on the city guard. The city guard widened his eyes and before he could even react, he was turned into ashes. The array formation in the imperial city was built by me. Feng Yuan said indifferently. How could the array formation she built stop her? It's the Empress. It's 100% the Empress. Ha, Empress, the Empress is finally back. Kill the people of the 17 great families. That's right. Over the past 1,000 years, the 17 great families have been arrogant and despotic. We dare not voice our anger. We welcome the Empress. We welcome the Empress's return. Within the city, seeing Feng Yuan's attack, all the people of the Feng dynasty were almost certain that their Empress had returned. Most of the people had incomparably excited expressions on their faces. They directly knelt on the ground and shouted loudly with faces full of excitement. No, no, how could this be? Our Emperor Feng, our ancestor, was actually killed by the Empress. No, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. It has nothing to do with us, everything has nothing to do with us. However, those trusted aides of Emperor Feng, the disciples of the 17 great families, all had panicked expressions on their faces. Fire Cloud Guards, eliminate Feng Chaotian and all the disciples of the 17 great families. Feng Yuan ordered in a cold voice. Chapter 1754. 1754 The extraordinary continent shook. On this day, blood flowed like a river in the imperial capital of the Feng dynasty. All the trusted aides of the 17 families and Feng Chaotian were killed. In an instant, 1/3 of the people in the entire imperial capital were killed. What the killing brought was not pain, but the cheers of the people in the imperial capital. Some of the Fire Cloud Guards did not even make a move, but the angry citizens killed them. Everyone's faces were filled with excitement, especially those who had followed the establishment of the Phoenix dynasty for more than 3,000 years. They knew that the Phoenix dynasty was no longer the Phoenix dynasty of the past. At that time, the Phoenix dynasty was full of fairness, positivity, and peace. Ever since the Phoenix dynasty was controlled by the Phoenix Emperor, the 17 great clans were powerful, and they squeezed the ordinary citizens. There was no hope for them to stand out, and many of them even fled to other empires. However, most of them still endured the exploitation and humiliation of the empire and the 17 great families. Now that the Empress had returned, hope was ignited in their hearts. They knew that the Empress was the #1 wise ruler of all time. Gather a group of experts in the imperial capital and clean up the members of the 17 great families in the other cities of the Phoenix dynasty. In the evening, an order was given from the Phoenix Palace. In just a short hour, tens of thousands of experts at least at the 8th or 9th rank of the extraordinary realm had signed up. From then on, they rode on Little Blue and began to sweep through the entire Phoenix dynasty. Instantly, the Phoenix dynasty fell into a bloody storm. However, at the same time, cheers resounded throughout the entire Phoenix dynasty. The disciples of the 17 great families who had been acting arrogantly were dealt a devastating blow. As the saying goes, the one who gains the hearts of the people wins the world. The 17 great families did not gain the slightest bit of the hearts of the people. When they encountered a disaster, what they received was the cheers of the entire Phoenix dynasty. None of the members of the 17 great families were spared from the disaster. Just as the entire Phoenix dynasty was in the midst of an exciting massacre, in the southern part of Central Continent, the incomparably huge empire of 10,000 demons was also met with a bloody massacre. All the demonic beasts and ferocious beasts that resisted were executed. Wuxia didn't exterminate all the surrendered demonic beasts. What surprised him was that in the empire of 10,000 demons, he met a demonic beast tribe with a decent bloodline. The Saturn Turtle tribe was a group of land turtle demonic beasts that possessed the bloodline of half-step longevity. All the demonic beasts of the Saturn Turtle tribe were very gentle. They were enslaved by a longevity beast tribe and used as mounts. The attack power of the Saturn Turtles was much weaker than those of the same level. However, their defense was extremely perverse. In fact, it was impossible for demon beasts of the same level to kill them. Their use of the earth attribute was extremely terrifying. Wuxia discovered that their bloodline was extraordinary and immediately accepted them as members of the Dragon Palace. This made the Saturn Turtles extremely excited while the rest of the demon beast races were filled with envy. To be valued and accepted as a member by a faction that could destroy their 10,000 Fey Empire was a great opportunity for the Saturn Turtle race. As for the rest of the Central Continent, the 5 empires and 2 empires had been destroyed, drifting through the storms. When the members of the faction that came to watch the ceremony returned and reported what had happened in the vast region, it immediately caused a huge commotion. The destruction of the 2 empires and the killing of the 2 emperor lords was like a huge earthquake to the entire transcendental continent. The 5 empires were deeply rooted in the transcendental continent. The most recent destruction of the empires had happened 50,000 to 60,000 years ago. However, now the 2 empires had been destroyed at the same time. Furthermore, they had been destroyed by a newly established Dragon Phoenix Empire and a power called the Dragon Palace. This caused the Aoshan Empire and the Draconid Empire to be incomparably shocked. The monarchs of the 2 empires immediately gathered all the experts to discuss. Now, the mainland forces, the 9 God Empire, the Dragon Phoenix Empire, and the Dragon Palace were clearly completely allied. The other party's alliance would definitely cause them to feel some fear. Even the Draconid Empire, which was backed by the Dragon race, would seriously discuss how to deal with the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Phoenix Empire, which had suddenly risen from the ashes. Of course, the Draconid Empire and the Aoshan Empire weren't too afraid. The Aoshan Empire stood in the center of the continent. The Aoshan Empire was known as the strongest empire of mankind, with the #1 human expert of the extraordinary continent, Ao Baiming, presiding over it. As for the Draconid Empire, their strength could be said to be even stronger than the Aoshan Empire, because they had the backing of the Dragon race. This was also the reason why the Draconid Empire was the strongest empire on the continent. After a series of discussions between the 2 empires, they each made a few decisions. However, while the 2 empires were not afraid, the other factions were different. Some factions with longevity experts had already made preparations. They prepared gifts and went to the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace to congratulate them. 10 days later, Wang Xian led the members of the Dragon Palace to sweep through the entire Myriad Demon Mountain Forest. As the third-ranked empire in the Transcendence continent, their wealth far exceeded Wang Xian's imagination. In his opinion, the resources in the ruins of the Kingdom of God were already extremely terrifying. However, there was still a huge gap when compared to the Myriad Demon Empire. After all, this was one of the 5 largest empires in the continent. The resources were 4 to 5 times more than the ruins of the Kingdom of God. This time, my strength will be able to increase by at least 2 levels. Other than that, the members of the Dragon Palace will also be able to receive a crazy improvement. Wang Xian sat on the dragon throne. A hint of excitement flashed across his face. There were 600,000 to 700,000 corpses of the army. There were about 80,000 insightful void martial artists. There were more than 40 of them in the realm of longevity. With so many corpses of experts, the strength of the Dragon Palace would receive a qualitative improvement. After this battle, the Dragon Palace would have at least 100 more members with the combat strength of longevity realm. Let's head to the Phoenix Dynasty. Wang Xian said to Emo Sha and ordered him to lead the way. Yes, boss. Emo Sha nodded immediately. With Emo Sha leading the way, the group of members flew rapidly towards the Phoenix Dynasty. The Empire of 10,000 Demons was located in the forest of the Mountain of 10,000 Demons. It was not suitable for humans to live in, so Wang Xian did not intend to occupy it. My young friend Dragon King, sorry to disturb you. Just as Wang Xian and the rest were flying rapidly towards the Phoenix Empire, a voice suddenly rang out, causing the entire group to be slightly stunned. The sudden voice caused even Wang Xian to reveal a look of astonishment. A hint of doubt flashed across his eyes as he immediately stood up and looked to the left. Who's playing tricks? Emo Sha's expression changed slightly when he heard the voice. He immediately turned his head to look. An old man with white hair was holding a treasure that looked like a small mountain in his hand. He was floating quietly in the air and looking at them. Ha! When Wang Xian saw the old man, his pupils constricted slightly. He was extremely shocked. He stared at the old man and the small mountain in his hand vigilantly. Young friend, there's no need to be afraid. Can you sit down and have a chat? The old man said to Wang Xian indifferently. You are. Suddenly, Emo Sha widened his eyes and stared at the old man in shock. Sure. Wang Xian took a look at Emo Sha's reaction and was astonished. He nodded at the old man. Chapter 1755. 1755 The God of the Great Emperor of the Aoshan Dragon Clan. My 2 young friends, please take a seat. In the sky, below the team of the Dragon Palace and the 9-God Empire. Beside a small mountain, a stone bench appeared in front of Wang Xian and Emo Sha. The old man smiled as he gestured at them. My old senior, you, how are you still alive? Emo Sha stared at the old man in front of him with his eyes wide open. He looked at him in disbelief as he spoke with a trembling mouth. Wang Xian was extremely shocked when he saw his expression. Emo Sha had always been extremely arrogant. He did not put anyone in his eyes. Even when faced with the Emperor of the 9 Heavens demonic bird who was much stronger than him, his expression remained unchanged. Why was he so fearful when facing an old man now? The old man was dressed in green clothes and had a kind expression on his face. He was like a huge mountain that had stood for tens of thousands of years. Although Wang Xian could feel a fatal threat from the old man, he was not as fearful as Emo Sha. Emo Sha, who is this senior? Wang Xian asked in puzzlement. Boss, this is the Emperor of Aoshan, the legendary Emperor of Aoshan. Emo Sha exclaimed in shock. Oh, the Emperor of Aoshan Empire? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. No, the current emperor is Ao Baiming, who is known as the strongest human. This is the legendary great emperor of Aoshan who fought against the dragon ancestor for 3 days and 3 nights. Oh my god, aren't you already dead? How could it be? Emo Sha widened his eyes and said in shock. What? Wang Xian was slightly shocked and looked at the old man in astonishment. He had read the name of Emperor Aoshan in a book before. A terrifying powerhouse from more than 10,000 years ago, the strongest powerhouse among humans. The most shocking thing about Emperor Ao Shan's life was that he once fought with an old dragon for 3 days and 3 nights. According to legend, the entire battle affected 1/3 of the extraordinary ocean. The sun and moon lost their light, and the sky and earth changed color. After the final battle, Emperor Ao Shan's name resounded throughout the entire extraordinary continent. However, the lifespan of a longevity expert was only 10,000 years. Emperor Ao Shan should have died 8 to 9,000 years ago. In fact, 8 to 9,000 years later, there was no more news of Emperor Ao Shan. However, the legend of the great Emperor of Ao Shan had spread throughout the entire supernatural continent. After all, he was the only human who could fight against the dragon race. It's me, an old man who has lived for more than 17,000 years. When the old man heard Emosha's words, he smiled and did not hide it at all. This? Wang Xian's pupils constricted slightly as he sized up the old man in astonishment. Senior, have you already become? Emosha gulped and stared at him in shock. Before he could finish his sentence, the great Emperor of Ao Shan shook his head slowly and said plainly, "There's no hope of becoming a god. Even if you're a half-step god, there's no hope at all." Then how? How did you live for so long? Emosha asked with his eyes still wide open. After all, the person in front of him was a legendary existence. It's just relying on external objects. I can live twice as long. The king of Ao Shan looked at the mountain peak in front of him and said slowly. Wang Xian looked at the ordinary-looking mountain peak and was a little shocked. This was a divine weapon with intelligence. May I know why Senior is looking for me? Wang Xian looked at Emperor Ao Shan and asked with a twinkle in his eyes. The person in front of him was probably at level 9 of longevity. With the help of the divine weapon in his hand, he was practically invincible in the transcendental continent. The only person who could fight against him might be the strongest person in the dragon race. It's nothing. I'm just here out of curiosity. Let's take a look. A few days ago, I received some news about you from Baiming. I'm curious about how a young man in his 30s managed to reach level 6 of longevity and was able to kill a demonic bird of the 9 heavens. Such talent is not even comparable to the one from the dragon race. Hence, I came to see if you are a human or have other bloodlines. Emperor Ao Shan did not hide anything and spoke directly. I am a human, but I have obtained a huge opportunity. Wang Xian's eyes were sparkling as he spoke. We are indeed of the same species. Emperor Ao Shan smiled. Looking at the history of the Transcendence continent over 1,000,000 years ago, your talent is the best even in the ancient times. As he spoke, he slowly took out a teapot and 3 teacups. When Emosha saw that, he immediately filled the teapots one by one. Then, may I know why Senior is looking for me? Wang Xian asked Emperor Ao Shan respectfully. The person in front of him was an old monster who had lived for 17,000 years. He had no choice but to respect him. There's nothing else. I just hope that you won't seek refuge with the Dragon Clan in the future. Emperor Ao Shan said directly. Seek refuge with the Dragon Clan? Of course, I won't seek refuge with the Dragon Clan. Wang Xian said directly. You don't have to promise me anything. The reason why I'm here today is to tell you something about humans. Emperor Ao Shan picked up his teacup, took a sip and said slowly. I'm all ears. Wang Xian nodded. I wonder if you know about the powers of the dragon race. As the overlords of the Transcendence continent, their abilities far exceed everyone's imagination. Emperor Ao Shan said plainly. Wang Xian nodded at the side and did not speak. He listened quietly. For hundreds of thousands of years, the path to godhood of the Transcendence continent has been severed. It has been a long time since a god appeared. Ever since the path to godhood was severed, the dragon race has relied on their bloodline to dominate the Transcendence continent. This rule lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. For hundreds of thousands of years, countless overlords of the Dragon Clan tried to become a god, but none of them succeeded. However, more than 10,000 years ago, a member of the Dragon Clan with terrifying talent appeared. He used more than 30 years to reach the longevity realm. In 1,000 years he reached the half-step god realm. It could be said that he shocked the entire Dragon Clan. His appearance was known as the god of the dragon race. However, in the next 10,000 years he didn't become a god. Because of the bloodline, the dragon race had a long lifespan, twice that of humans. After 10,000 years, the god of the dragon race didn't even reach the god realm. Later, he found a possibility to become a god and believed in becoming a god. In order to become a god, he wanted all the living beings on the continent to worship him. He wanted to enslave all living beings, including humans. It was also that time. I fought with the god of the dragon race for 3 days and 3 nights. If I didn't rely on the towering mountain, I would have been killed by him long ago. Therefore, I stopped the ambition of the god of the dragon race. Later, he took a step back and expanded the Draconid Empire to develop his belief. The facts proved that belief couldn't become a god. At this point, Emperor Ao Shan smiled and revealed a proud expression. The god of the dragon race is brutal. Speaking of which, if it weren't for the fact that I, an old man, am still around and the towering mountain is still around, the humans might have already been exterminated by the dragon race. What? Wang Xian was slightly shocked when he heard his words. Chapter 1756. 1756 Emperor of Ao Shan, the god of the dragon race. Wang Xian did not expect that there would be such a secret in the supernatural continent. The powerful and heaven-defying god of the dragon race, the Emperor of Ao Shan who controlled the divine weapon. The path of becoming the god of the dragon race. Believing in God ascension. Each and every incident shocked him. Wang Xian looked at the Emperor of Ao Shan who was sitting in front of him. He looked at the arrogant look on his face. Could this fellow be showing off to me? Senior, you're telling me all this, right? Wang Xian pondered for a moment and asked Emperor Ao Shan. There's nothing much. I'm just here to tell you that the dragon race is the enemy of us humans. You have the strength to influence the 2 empires and involve almost half of the population of the extraordinary mainland. Don't submit to the dragon race unless you have no other choice. That's because I can't guarantee that the god of the dragon race will not do anything drastic. After all, he has already reached the half-step god realm at the age of 1,000 years. Now he only has a lifespan of over 2,000 years. If he doesn't make a breakthrough soon, he will die. The dragon race is such a magnificent existence. They won't be so satisfied. Emperor Ao Shan reminded Wang Xian. Also, I would like to see the heavens' favorites in our human race who are comparable to the god of the dragon race. If you can become a god in your lifetime, our human race can be considered to be prosperous. Emperor Ao Shan continued. Don't worry, senior. If I have the power of a god one day, I will rule the entire ocean. I will also support the empress to unify the mainland. Wang Xian smiled and said directly. Haha, you are ambitious. Young friend, if you can reach the godly state, you will be able to unify the entire Transcendence continent. By then it will be a great merit. Emperor Ao Shan laughed out loud. Alright, I will not disturb you anymore. We will meet again when we have the chance. As he said that, Emperor Ao Shan's figure disappeared. Wang Xian looked at a direction in the sky and raised his eyebrows slightly. This Emperor Ao Shan is pretty good. He commented faintly. Emperor Ao Shan is the most brilliant powerhouse in the past 100,000 years. Mo Shah, who was beside him, said with a sigh. This person was a peerless powerhouse in history. He did not expect to meet him in person. The Aoshan Empire occupies the center of the supernatural continent and has the broadest land. They have existed for the longest time. Their heritage is really strong. They even have a divine weapon. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. That was a divine weapon. It is rumored that the 9-god empire and the Aoshan Empire are empires left behind by gods. Our 9-god empire is obviously much weaker. However, I am puzzled. Is it so difficult to become a god? Even the god of the dragon race failed to become a god after more than 10,000 years. The dragon race controls most of the resources in the extraordinary mainland. Mo Shah said in surprise. Maybe it's because of the dragon race's bloodline. Wang Xian guessed. The dragon race in this world couldn't even be compared to the dragon race in the Dragon Palace. It was similar to the Firehammer race in the past. Due to the limitations of their bloodline, it was difficult for them to break through to the godly state. Let's go. Wang Xian said to Mo Shah before returning to the dragon throne and continuing to sail towards the Phoenix dynasty. Although the arrival of the legendary figure of the extraordinary mainland, the great Emperor Aoshan, was beyond his expectations, he did not take it to heart. Regardless of whether it was the great Emperor Aoshan or the god of the dragons, as long as he was given a few more years, they would not be a match for him. After I return this time, my level will be greatly improved. Furthermore, the Dragon Palace has already reached level 5. Even if the god of the Dragon Clan attacks me personally, the Dragon Palace's defense will be able to withstand it. Wang Xian revealed a look of confidence. The team from the Dragon Palace flew and soon arrived at the Phoenix Dynasty. When the citizens of the Phoenix Dynasty saw the huge team from the Dragon Palace, they weren't too surprised. In the past 10 days, they had clearly learned about the Dragon Phoenix Empire and the Dragon Palace. The citizens of the Phoenix Dynasty were filled with gratitude towards a Dragon Palace that had helped their empress to get to where she was today. Little Xian, have you dealt with the 10,000 Demons Empire? Lan Qingyue, Guan Shuqing and the other girls asked him. Yes, I've dealt with all of them. What about the Phoenix Empire? Wang Xian nodded with a smile and looked at Feng Yuan. I've dealt with them. Feng Yuan nodded as well. Are you planning to place the imperial capital of the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom or the Phoenix Empire? Wang Xian's gaze swept across the imperial capital of the Phoenix Empire. In terms of prosperity, it was much better than the current imperial capital. However, in terms of defense, the ruins of the Divine Kingdom was better. I'm also considering it. The vast area is a little far from the Phoenix Dynasty, but I can't give up on any of them. Feng Yuan frowned slightly and hesitated. The vast area had the benefits of the vast area. It was difficult to make a decision here. Why don't we go back first and think about it? Wang Xian said to her, I plan to bring the disciples of the Dragon Palace back. The resources that I bring back this time will allow the Dragon Palace to receive a huge upgrade. Alright, you guys can go back first. I have to settle some matters here in the Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan said to him. Alright, if you have any problems, you can ask Imo Sha for help directly. Wang Xian didn't stay in the Phoenix Dynasty any longer. He brought the group of girls and the members of the Dragon Palace and flew towards the vast area. With Xiaolan carrying them, Wang Xian and the rest returned to the Dragon Palace 3 days later. Next, we will increase the strength of all the members of the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian floated in the sky above the Dragon Palace and said to all the disciples of the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gue and all the members of the Dragon Palace revealed an excited expression. This time, the resources that the Dragon Palace had obtained were too huge. Prime Minister Gue, lead all the members of the Dragon Palace into the Dragon Pool. Wang Xian said with a smile. Yes. Prime Minister Gue nodded. Wang Xian moved his body and flew directly into the Dragon King's palace. Next, he had to start improving his strength. The interspatial rings of the 600,000 to 700,000 experts from the Empire of 10,000 Demons and the Phoenix Dynasty. The elixirs in them were extremely terrifying. Other than those elixirs, there were also the spiritual herbs and various treasures that he had obtained when he went to the Empire of 10,000 Demons. These treasures were sufficient to give him a huge improvement in his strength. Taking out the elixirs one by one, Wang Xian transformed into the body of a divine dragon and swallowed the elixirs and spiritual herbs in large mouthfuls. It was almost equivalent to the treasures of 2 empires. This was especially so for the Empire of 10,000 Demons. It had a history of more than 300,000 years. The treasures that they stored were so great that even Wang Xian was shocked. One pill after another turned into dense dragon qi. Wang Xian's strength began to increase rapidly. Half an hour later, his level had directly increased by 1 level. However, he did not stop. The pills in his interspatial ring were enough for him to increase another level. Ding! Congratulations to the host for reaching the 3rd level of longevity. When he had consumed 70% of his resources, the system's voice sounded. Only then did he stop. Chapter 1757. 1757 17,570,000 lifespan, peak of level 8. Name Wang Xian. Race, Yin-Yang 5 elements divine dragon, Mandragon unity. Level, longevity level 3, 4th change of the divine dragon transformation. Divine crystal, 111/25,000. Supernatural ability, rule the water tribe below their level. Devour living things to extract divine crystals. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation method, divine dragon transformation. Abhijna, soul-absorbing, spirit-attaching, yin-yang 5 elements dragon eyes. Aspect: 5 elements great mill, dragon kingdom in the palm, dragon head under the heavens, dragon body of 10,000 miles, yin-yang poles, yin-yang 5 elements arms bowl, divine dragon tail. Domain: Rainbow Dragon Domain. Dragon Palace, Level 5. Members of Dragon Palace, 23,333. In the Dragon King's Hall of the Dragon Palace, a 3,000-meter-long Wuxia was swaying his body. His entire body was flashing with 7-colored radiance. Waves of powerful dragon might were surging towards the surroundings. A majestic dragon head, a huge body and 2 huge dragon horns. Every part of his body seemed to have been carved by divine work. It was completely flawless. Although I didn't comprehend any skills during this upgrade, the immense power has given me the terrifying strength to kill a level 8 Wuxia master. Wuxia felt the strength of his body and a majestic glow shot out from his eyes. The area of the 7-colored dragon field had reached a radius of 1,600 kilometers. Within this 1,600 kilometers he could teleport to any place. Now, I should be able to kill 2 level 8 longevity dragon emperors. As for humans, I should be able to kill 4 level 8 longevity experts. Wuxia's eyes sparkled. The improvement this time was too great. The great emperor of Aoshan has the strength of level 9 of longevity. The strongest person in the Aoshan Empire, Ao Baiming, has the strength of level 7 of longevity. The dragon emperor of the Draconid Empire seems to have the strength of level 7 of longevity as well. Speaking of which, he is the second strongest person among the humans. However, there should be more than a dozen people from the dragon clan who are at level 8, level 9, and half-step divine realm. He thought to himself. In the entire supernatural continent he was already close to the strongest. Roar! Wuxia let out a soft roar. Sensing the powerful force, he transformed into his human form and arrived at the dragon transformation pool. At this moment, all the members of the Dragon Palace were entrenched in the dragon transformation pool. The 9 divine dragons that were entrenched on the dragon pearl spat out resplendent dragon blood. The dragon blood was poured directly on the members of the Dragon Palace. I wonder how strong the members of the Dragon Palace will be in half a month's time. The corners of Wuxia's mouth curled up slightly. The birth of the Dragon Palace had shocked the entire supernatural continent. The return of the Empress had similarly shocked the entire supernatural continent. The destruction of the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty shocked everyone on the continent. From then on, the Transcendence continent no longer had the 10,000 Fey Empire and the Phoenix Dynasty, only the Dragon Palace and the Phoenix Dynasty. Time slowly passed, and the Phoenix Dynasty changed its name to the Dragon Phoenix Empire, becoming the territory of the Dragon Phoenix Empire. After the Phoenix wiped out the 17 great families, huge amounts of resources flowed into the Dragon Phoenix Empire, creating numerous experts. The entire extraordinary continent temporarily entered a stable state. Half a month later, all the members of the Dragon Palace used up the resources they obtained this time, causing the strength of the entire Dragon Palace to receive a huge increase. The number of members in the Dragon Palace who had the combat strength of a rank 1 Wuxia reached over 100. All the leaders had reached rank 2 Wuxia. As for the other members, the weakest had reached level 5 of the Profound Void Realm and could fight against level 6 of the Profound Void Realm. More than 2,000 Saturn turtles had been subdued, and they had become the Royal Sky Division of the Dragon Palace. After absorbing dragon blood and breaking through the bloodline limit, their defense had reached a terrifying level. None of the members of the Dragon Palace at the same level could break through their defense. Their powerful and invincible defense meant that their attack power was very weak. In the entire Dragon Palace, their attack power was the weakest. Even so, they were still a very powerful race in the entire extraordinary continent. Even Prime Minister Gue was preparing to advance toward the Saturn Turtle clan. Half a month later, Feng Yuan returned to the Dragon Palace. The final decision was to place the imperial capital of the Dragon Phoenix Empire in the former imperial capital of the Phoenix Dynasty. The central continent region was the center of the entire continent. The quality of the ordinary citizens there was one level higher than the vast region. The prodigies of the vast region might only be considered ordinary geniuses in the central continent region. After Feng Yuan returned, she took out a huge amount of resources and began to raise her strength. The resources of the Phoenix dynasty were not requested by the King Immortal. With the resources accumulated by the 17 families and the Phoenix Emperor, it was enough for Feng Yuan to receive a huge increase in her strength. Little Xian, are we going to move the Dragon Palace to the Sea of Extraordinariness next? In the Dragon Palace, a group of girls and Wang Xian were lying in the Dragon King's bedroom. Lan Qingyue asked directly. Yes. If the Dragon Palace wants to continue developing, it must go to the Sea of Extraordinariness. Wang Xian nodded. At present, the Dragon Palace and the Dragon Phoenix Empire had stabilized. With the resources obtained from forging weapons by the Firehammer clan, the maximum number of 5 Dragon Palace disciples who were at level 5 of the See-Through Realm could be upgraded to level 6 of the See-Through Realm in a day. At this speed, it would take more than 10 years for all the 23,000 disciples of the Dragon Palace to reach the Longevity Realm. This period of time was too long, so the Dragon Palace had to enter the Extraordinary Sea. The Extraordinary Sea is the territory of the Dragon Clan. All the sea beasts are under the control of the Dragon Clan. If the Dragon Clan finds out that we've entered, we'll be in big trouble. Lan Qingyue frowned at the side. The Dragon Clan is indeed a problem. However, with our current level 5 Dragon Palace's defensive capabilities, the Dragon Clan will not be able to break through our defenses. Wang Xian's eyes sparkled. In the Sea of Extraordinariness, he once found a relatively remote place where the Dragon Palace could quietly develop. However, it will be a little difficult to increase my strength in the future. Wang Xian frowned slowly. 2 consecutive huge improvements. One was to obtain the resources in the ruins of the Divine Kingdom, and the other was to destroy the 2 empires. The only way to obtain another huge improvement was to destroy the empires. However, putting aside the fact that he had no enmity with the 2 empires, even if he didn't have the strength to destroy them. Qingyu Shuqing, I hope I'm not disturbing you. If you're not disturbing me, I'll go in. At this moment, Feng Yuan's voice came from outside. Her words caused the girls' faces to turn slightly red. Come in, Sister Feng Yuan. What are you, the Empress, thinking about? Guan Shuqing spat and said directly. Didn't I say hello in advance in order to prevent disturbing your elegant mood and to prevent eye harm? Feng Yuan walked in with a smile on her face. In the past, she had entered the bedroom without paying attention once. As a result, she had seen a shameful picture of a living palace. From then on, she would inform them in advance every time she came in. Sometimes she wouldn't come in suddenly even if she called them in advance. Feng Yuan, your strength has increased to level 6 of longevity? Seeing Feng Yuan come in, Wang Xian said in surprise. Chapter 1758. 1758, I want to become a god. Before the great battle, Feng Yuan's strength was only at the 3rd level of longevity. Now, she had directly risen to the 3rd level and had the strength to fight against the 7th level of longevity. Even at her peak, she didn't have such formidable strength. Well, it's all thanks to the dragon pool. Otherwise, I would need at least 1,000 years to surpass myself at my peak. Feng Yuan said with a smile. When do you plan to transfer the Dragon Palace to the Sea of Extraordinariness? Feng Yuan continued to speak. Soon. I have found a good location for the Sea of Extraordinariness. I will transfer the Dragon Palace there today. Wang Xian said directly. Be careful of the Dragon Clan. The Sea of Extraordinariness is under the control of the Dragon Clan. If the Dragon Palace were to enter suddenly, I'm afraid they would be attacked by the Dragon Palace. Feng Yuan reminded. With the defense and concealment of the Dragon Palace, unless a longevity-level Dragon Clan expert comes to the sky above the Dragon Palace, it would be very difficult to discover it. Wang Xian smiled and didn't pay too much attention to it. The area of the Sea of Extraordinariness was too big. It was slightly bigger than the central continent. The Dragon Sea of the Dragon Clan only occupied 1/4 of the area of the Sea of Extraordinariness. The area he was in was very remote and difficult to discover. That's good. The Dragon Palace's teleportation to the Extraordinary Sea will be much closer to the Dragon Phoenix Empire. Feng Yuan nodded. Since that's the case, let's start the teleportation. Wang Xian did not stop. He stood up immediately and began the teleportation of the Dragon Palace. After the Dragon Palace was upgraded to level 5, the teleportation range reached more than 3,000 kilometers. It could be teleported once every 10 seconds. In a few hours, the vast dragon palace directly entered the Sea of Transcendence. In a relatively remote coastal area, the dragon palace stood there. It occupied an area of 1,000 kilometers. 1,000 kilometers was not a small area, but the dragon palace had a concealment array. As long as the longevity experts were not very close, they would not be discovered. When the dragon palace moved, it was located in the center of the extraordinary sea. Hundreds of thousands of mountains rose from the bottom of the sea and shot into the clouds. There were tens of thousands of densely packed mountains. Roars came from the entire sea from time to time. Dragons with huge wings swam in the sea and soared in the sky. This was the overlord of the extraordinary continent, the land of the dragon race, the Dragon Sea. The Dragon Sea was the sea of the dragon race, the habitat of hundreds of thousands of dragons. In the middle of the Dragon Sea was a huge flaming mountain. This flaming mountain was extremely huge, hundreds of times the size of the surrounding mountains. However, this mountain was a little strange. It only revealed about 100 meters of water. It occupied a large area, but its height was very low. Moreover, the entire mountain peak was completely sunken in like a valley. The valley within the flaming mountain peak occupied an area of about 50 kilometers. This was the Dragon God Valley. Dragon Deep Valley, the resting place of the god of the dragon race. At this moment, the center of the Dragon God Valley was enveloped by mysterious rays of light. Walala! An old man with dragon horns sat on a high throne. He was holding an ancient book in his hand, and his eyes were shining with divine light. The sound of flowing water came from the front of the throne. However, it was not flowing water but fresh blood without any impurities. The fresh blood gathered in the huge pond in front of them. The blood did not even occupy 1% of the space. On the left and right sides of the blood pond, there were two huge bookshelves. The bookshelves were filled with ancient books. In the center of the blood pond, there were more than a dozen figures kneeling. There were 13 old men with dragon horns and a middle-aged man with dragon horns and a dragon tail. If it were not for the existence of the blood pond, the whole picture would have looked like the dean of the academy teaching his students. Haha, the bloodline has become a god. For hundreds of thousands of years, the reason why no god was born in the dragon clan is because of the bloodline. Success depends on the bloodline and failure depends on the bloodline. On the throne, the gentle and kind-looking old man spoke indifferently. The madness in his eyes had destroyed some of his temperament. The human race is a lowly race. They have a lowly bloodline, but it's also because of this bloodline that their advancement will not be restricted by the bloodline. It's been more than 10,000 years. I finally found a way to become a god. Ah! The gentle and kind old man continued. At the end of his words, his face revealed a savage and willful expression. The peak of the dragon, the world is proud. Only with me, the dragon god, can there be a heaven. Scarlet claw, undying body, exterminating all the powerful enemies of the 9 heavens. Carrying blood on my back, holding the dragon valley in my hand. I want to become a god. The gentle and kind old man continued, his body began to tremble with excitement. The dragon god will definitely step into the god realm and become the only true god in the transcendental continent. Below, more than 10 figures lowered their heads and shouted respectfully, "Son of the dragon." The gentle and kind old man withdrew the wanton expression on his face and recovered once again. He looked down. "Your subordinate is here." The middle-aged man with dragon horns and a dragon tail hurriedly replied, "I need the blood of a human expert, a large amount of blood." The gentle and kind old man was naturally the strongest expert of the dragon race, the god of the dragon race. "Leave it to your subordinate." The son of the dragon replied respectfully, "I need the blood of the Aoshan Empire. I want to use the blood of the Aoshan Emperor, that undying old man, to sacrifice my divine seat." The god of the dragon race said with a smile. His words made the son of the dragon race slightly moved. "It's the dragon god." The son of the dragon replied again. He hesitated for a moment before continuing, "Lord Dragon God, a powerful force has appeared on the extraordinary continent. It's called the Dragon Palace. According to the information we have, the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace has the strength of a level 6 longevity warrior. However, he is only in his 30s. For him to be able to transform into a powerful creature, he must have obtained some kind of opportunity and obtained a powerful bloodline. Oh. The god of the dragon clan was slightly stunned, and his eyes were shining. He has the power of the 6th level of longevity in his 30s? What kind of bloodline is this? If he doesn't become a god, he will become an ant. In the entire Transcendence continent, the dragon clan has the strongest bloodline, but to be able to reach the 6th level of longevity in his 30s is extraordinary. Find out what kind of bloodline he has. Everything is based on fresh blood. Within a year, I need enough fresh blood. Next, I need to complete the transformation of my bloodline and make preparations to ignite the divine fire. You can come back a year later. After the god of dragon race finished speaking, he sat on the chair and flipped open the book in his hand. With a gentle wave of his arm, more than 10 figures directly appeared outside the Dragon Valley. Take care of Lord Dragon God's matters. If you need anything, come find us. Outside the Dragon Valley, an elder of the dragon clan said to the son of dragon, "It's the dragon ancestor. I will fulfill Lord Dragon God's orders." The son of dragon nodded heavily. Then go. By the way, let me know when you understand the Dragon King's bloodline of the Dragon Palace. The dragon ancestor continued to instruct. Yes. The son of dragon replied. In the entire Transcendence continent, the only one who could be called the son of dragon was the Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Empire. Chapter 1759. 1759 Dragon Man Empire's Invitation. Lord Dragon God is becoming more and more terrifying. Soon, the entire transcendental continent will be under Lord Dragon God's feet. The Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Man Empire muttered in shock when he saw the group of dragon race higher-ups leave. More than 10,000 years ago, there was still someone who could contend against the Dragon God in the entire transcendental continent. Now that more than 10,000 years had passed, that person was probably no match for the Dragon God. In his opinion, the Dragon God was even more terrifying than a real god. The former god of the dragon race was almost like a crazy demon in order to become a god. He even wanted to make all the living beings in the entire continent worship him. However, because of the appearance of Emperor Ao Shan, he held a divine artifact in his hand and stopped this action. Later, the entire Draconid Empire worshipped the Dragon God. In the end, the Dragon God realized that it was completely impossible to worship and ascend to godhood, so he stopped. Later on, in order to break through to godhood, the Dragon God collected all kinds of ancient books and materials from the entire continent. He spent 6,000 to 7,000 years studying all kinds of books, experiments, and practices. 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, he went into seclusion for 6,000 to 7,000 years. This was an extremely terrifying thing for any human or even living creature. Loneliness and loneliness. The god of the dragon race endured it all until he found the path to godhood again not long ago. Bloodline. With his powerful and terrifying wisdom, he decided to transform his bloodline into a human's bloodline. Then, with his understanding of the mirror of God, after nearly 20,000 years of accumulation, he ignited the divine fire, established the divine kingdom, and became a god. In the Dragon Emperor's view, the god of the dragon race was very likely the only god born in the last few 100,000 years. I need to make some preparations. Although the god of the dragon clan doesn't need much blood, it needs at least the blood of tens of millions of powerhouses. The Dragon Emperor murmured and flew directly toward the Draconid Empire. It had been 3 days since the Dragon Palace had moved to the Extraordinary Sea. During these 3 days, the appearance of the Dragon Palace didn't attract the attention of the creatures of the Extraordinary Sea. During these 3 days, the disciples of the Dragon Palace had a radius of more than 10,000 kilometers and had completely stabilized. The Dragon and Phoenix Empire had also stabilized and everything was flourishing. It was rare for Wuxia to relax again. He brought a group of girls around the Phoenix dynasty and clapped happily for love in the Dragon Palace. In short, they were playing happily for half a month. Dragon King, Dragon Queen. When Wuxia was playing with a group of girls at a famous scenic spot in the Phoenix dynasty, a small team of Firecloud guards suddenly rushed over. What's the matter? When Wuxia saw them, he knew that Feng Wan was looking for him. Dragon King, the Empress asked us to look for you. Something has happened between the Draconid Empire and the Aoshan Empire. The Firecloud Guard said directly. The Aoshan Empire and the Draconid Empire. Wuxia was slightly taken aback. The image of the great Emperor of Aoshan appeared in his mind. Xiao Yu, my wives, let's go. Wang Xian shouted at Guan Shuqing and the other girls. With a wave of his arm, he teleported directly towards the imperial capital of the Dragon and Phoenix Empire. Feng Wan, what happened between the Aoshan Empire and the Draconid Empire? When Wang Xian arrived at the Phoenix Palace, he sensed her location and teleported over immediately. The news came this morning. The Draconid Empire sent troops to attack the cities of the Aoshan Empire. There seems to be a fight because of a small matter. It must be premeditated. Feng Wan saw Wang Xian and handed him a document of the Phoenix Empire. Oh, the Draconid Empire dares to attack the Aoshan Empire? Could it be an order from the dragon race? Wang Xian was slightly taken aback. Looking at the information on it, he was slightly surprised. Even if the Draconid Empire does not rely on the dragon race, it is not weaker than the Aoshan Empire. It should have nothing to do with the dragon race. If the dragon race were to attack, the Aoshan Empire would have been destroyed long ago. Upon hearing Wang Xian's words, Feng Wan said directly, "How is that possible? The great emperor of Aoshan is still alive. The dragon race would not dare to attack the Aoshan Empire so easily." Wang Xian shook his head and said, "What? The great emperor of Aoshan? This great emperor should have fallen. How is he still alive?" Feng Wan asked with a stunned expression. "I have met the great emperor of Aoshan." Wang Xian told her about the last time the great emperor of Aoshan came to look for him. "I really didn't expect that such a person is still alive. Furthermore, he has a powerful divine weapon." Feng Wan muttered in shock. In that case, the dragon race and the Dragonman Empire should know that this person is still alive. Why would they still dare to do so? Feng Wan frowned slightly. She couldn't understand it. "Empress, there are experts from the Dragonman Empire coming to pay their respects." At this moment, Feng Yun walked in and reported to Feng Wan. The Draconid Empire." Feng Wan was slightly shocked. She took a glance at Wang Xian. "Let them in," Feng Wan said directly. "Greetings, Empress." Soon, 3 powerhouses with dragon horns on their heads walked in and paid their respects to Feng Wan. "May I know why the 3 of you from the Draconid Empire are here in the Draconid Empire?" Feng Wan asked directly. "This should be the Dragon King." The 3 powerhouses from the Draconid Empire looked at Wang Xian and said, "We are here to look for the Dragon King. Since we don't know the location of the Dragon Palace, we came to the Phoenix Empire. It's just that we didn't expect the Dragon King to be here. That's even better." "Oh, looking for me?" Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and looked at the 3 middle-aged men. They were Draconids who possessed the bloodline of the dragon race. They had a pair of dragon horns on their heads. The 3 of them were all at the first level of the longevity realm. Their strength was extraordinary. "Our Dragon King has heard of the name of the Dragon King and wishes to get to know him. We would like to invite you to the Dragon City of the Draconid Empire." The middle-aged man in the middle said to Wang Xian. "Invite me to the Dragon City?" Wang Xian was a little puzzled. "That's right. Our Dragon Emperor and some dragon experts want to witness the rise of the Dragon King from the extraordinary mainland. Don't worry, Dragon King. Our Dragon Empire and the dragon race have no other intentions. With our strength, there's no need for us to play any tricks," the middle-aged man said with a smile. There was a hint of arrogance on his face. "In 5 days, I will pay a visit to Dragon City." Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and said directly, "All right. When the time comes, our Draconid Empire would like to welcome the Dragon King." The 3 Draconids cupped their hands and took out an invitation letter. They cupped their hands at Feng Wan and left immediately. Wang Xian took the invitation letter and watched the 3 Draconids leave. His eyes were sparkling. "Why did the Draconid Empire and the dragon race invite you, little Xian?" Feng Wan frowned slightly. Wang Xian shook his head and guessed, "Could it be related to the Aoshan Empire? It shouldn't be? Could it be that I'm just curious? No matter what, it's better to be careful. The Draconid Empire and the dragon race are very overbearing." The group of girls reminded him. "Don't worry. My current strength is sufficient to kill a level 8 dragon of longevity. If I want to escape, even a level 9 dragon of longevity wouldn't be able to stop me," Wang Xian said faintly. He was also curious about the invitation from the Draconid Empire. Chapter 1760. 1760 Third Crown Prince of the Dragon Clan. Dragon City, the imperial capital of the Draconid Empire. 3 gigantic dragon arches were located in 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. In the north there was a gigantic mountain peak. The mountain peak was as high as 5,000 meters, reaching straight into the clouds. Above the mountain peak, there was a dragon that was more than 2,000 meters in size. This was the god of the dragon clan. Huge wings and a huge head lay on the top of the mountain peak, overlooking the entire dragon city. This dragon mountain in the north was transported here directly from another place over 10,000 years ago by the powerhouses of the dragon race. This was to announce the god of the dragon race and the belief of the dragon race. Dragon City was the only city in the entire continent where the dragon race could be seen frequently. From time to time, there would be dragons circling in the sky. This is Dragon City? Wang Xian was floating 30 kilometers in front of Dragon City. Looking at the dragon pool in front of him, his eyes were filled with curiosity. The hierarchy of the Draconid Empire was clear. Humans were considered inferior while the Draconids were considered aristocrats. The dragon race was the supreme existence in the Draconid Empire. They would receive the highest treatment wherever they went in the Draconid Empire. Let's go and take a look. Wang Xian didn't go to the Dragon Palace immediately. Instead, he went straight to the city gate and entered the Dragon City. He told the Draconid Empire that he would arrive in 5 days. Today was only the 4th day. After entering the dragon pool, one could see dragon-shaped buildings and statues of the god of the dragon race everywhere. There were also some places for worshipping and offering sacrifices. On the streets of the entire Dragon City, the Draconids with dragon horns were obviously of a higher status. Ordinary people had to make way for the Draconids. Those Draconids with dragon horns were generally stronger. Walala. At this moment, voices were suddenly heard. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback as he realized that the person in front of him was kneeling on the ground. Ha! He was slightly taken aback as he saw more than a dozen humanoid dragons with dragon horns and dragon tails walking over. Those with dragon horns and dragon tails were powerhouses above the level of the Dragon Emperor. The citizens of the Draconid Empire and even the Draconids had to kneel and pay their respects when they saw them. Everyone around was kneeling on the ground. Wang Xian, who was standing by the side of the street, appeared very abrupt. "My lords, if you are passing by, you must kneel even if you are an outsider." A strong voice sounded beside him. Wang Xian looked over and realized that it was a Draconid with dragon horns staring at him angrily. Around him, some citizens of Dragon City were looking at him. Wang Xian frowned slightly and ignored them. He walked straight ahead. Ha! The dozen Draconids who were walking in the middle of the road were slightly stunned when they saw Wang Xian, who was still standing. "Third Prince, this human?" A middle-aged man on the left at the front was sizing up Wang Xian. He raised his eyebrows and raised his head slightly. He was filled with a noble look. "His strength is extraordinary." The middle-aged Draconid who was standing in the middle of the dozen or so people raised his eyebrows and sized up Wang Xian as well. He asked faintly, "Who is he from?" "The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. He has been invited to the Draconid Empire." While the group of dragon experts were sizing him up, Wang Xian was also looking at them as he replied faintly. "Dragon King of the Dragon Palace? Which faction is this? How dare they call him the Dragon King? Ah, interesting. They really know how to suck up to him." The third prince of the dragon clan, who was standing in the middle of the group, was stunned for a moment before he laughed out loud. After he finished speaking, he ignored Wang Xian and walked straight ahead. He didn't put Wang Xian in his eyes at all. "Ah, Dragon King of the Dragon Palace?" The Draconid who berated Wang Xian earlier was slightly stunned. The people around him were also stunned. A dozen members of the dragon race might not know the name of the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, but the citizens of the Draconid Empire were very clear about it. He was the latest peerless powerhouse to rise up in the extraordinary mainland. He killed the Emperor of the 9 Heavens, demonic bird of the 10,000 Demons Empire, and destroyed 2 empires. His strength was extremely terrifying and he was one of the top experts in the continent. However, what they did not expect was that the Dragon King of the dragon race had actually come to their Dragon City. Dragon King? Flattery? When the citizens of the Dragon City heard the words of more than 10 dragon race experts, Their faces were filled with astonishment and their eyes flashed with a strange look. Flattery? When Wang Xian heard these words and saw the group of dragon race figures leaving proudly, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He had already witnessed the arrogance of the dragons. This was the first time Wang Xian had seen their imagination. The reason why this newly risen leader of the Dragon Palace is called the Dragon King is because he can be called the Dragon King when he is half a step away from longevity. Above longevity he can be called the Dragon Emperor. Logically speaking, this Dragon King has the strength of level 6 longevity. He can definitely be called the Dragon Emperor. In our world, besides the Dragon Clan and our monarch, who else dares to call him the Dragon Emperor? The leader of the Dragon Palace obviously doesn't dare to be the Dragon Emperor, so he is called the Dragon King. That's right, this will at least give our Dragon Empire and the Dragon Clan a good impression. This leader of the Dragon Palace really knows how to do things. The person in the middle was the third prince just now, right? He is one of the most outstanding members of the Dragon Clan. Those who can seize the position of the Crown Prince are almost certain to become the Dragon Emperor in the future. This is a top-notch existence of the Dragon Clan. Voices of conversation rang out around Wang Xian. The words of the citizens of the Draconid Empire made him slightly stunned once again. In the Divine Dragon Clan, the ruler of a dragon palace is called the Dragon King. Even if he is at the Divine Realm or higher, he is still called the Dragon King. Only a Dragon King who has cultivated to the 9 transformations can be called the Dragon God. As for the Dragon Emperor, the Dragon Emperor. Wang Xian shook his head contemptuously. The Divine Dragon Clan did not have such a title. After wandering around for half a day, he realized that the citizens of the entire Draconid Empire had a strong respect for the Dragon Clan. They called themselves the servants of the dragon. This kind of belief was even filled with blindness. Wang Xian strolled around Dragon City and found a good restaurant to stay in. When Wang Xian's identity was exposed in Dragon City, the Dragon King, who was located in the Dragon Palace in the center of Dragon City, had already received the news. When he learned that the Dragon King from the Dragon Palace had arrived early, a satisfied look appeared on his face. Prime Minister, prepare a banquet for the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace tomorrow. The son of the Dragon Emperor, directly ordered the Prime Minister in the study. Yes, Dragon Emperor. Today the third prince of the Dragon Clan and the others have come to the Dragon Pool. Should we invite them over tomorrow? The white-bearded Prime Minister in the Imperial study hesitated for a moment and said, "Of course we have to inform the third prince and the others about this. We just need to reserve seats for them. As for whether they will come or not, it doesn't matter." The Dragon Emperor nodded. Also, how are things at the border with the Aoshan Empire? Reporting to the Dragon Emperor, we have already used the formation to collect blood. However, at this rate it will take at least half a year. The white-bearded Prime Minister immediately replied. Send out more legions and send out a small team of dragon among men. Speed up. The Dragon King immediately ordered. Yes. The white-bearded Prime Minister bowed and left. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace. After a moment of silence in the Imperial study, the Dragon King gently knocked on the table. I wonder what kind of bloodline this Dragon King has to be so extraordinary at such a young age. Try to recruit him. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.